she be?
I'll just make sure.
Check the bipolar operating system.
The disk is at 14%
for now, until you forget her birthday, and then she runs right up to 100 and crashes all of your programs. How's my audio? Is it good?
It's good. Is mine at the right level?
Yeah, I guess we could tune it down a little bit. I got
Just
my gain just a little bit. Yeah, I got my gain down.
How's that?
That's I don't know. It's the same. I have a feeling that these Yeti Blue mics, which were supposed to be the latest and greatest, which they were when they came out, but they do a lot of software. The software, the computer, and the microphone talk to each other. And they say, hey, you know that Aaron Clary guy that owns us both, paid money for us? Yeah, fuck him. We're going to do what we want. And so none of the gain changes. I think the Yeti mic constantly adjusts no matter what.
Yeah, it's like Windows, right?
Yeah.
It adjusts for you. It's
the little paper
clip saying, hey, do you want to do this?
Yep.
We're going to do that for you.
And behind that is, in this particular case, there's a Silicon Valley nerd. I picture him as an East Indian. It may not be. It's just picturing. I'm painting a picture for people to see. And he saw a lot of American movies with blondes, with big tits, who in the end, in the 80s, in the 80s movies, the girls would, the nerd, the good kid would always get the chick in the ski show, or Harold and Kumar, they get the girls or whatever.
Yeah, like Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah. The
Weird Science.
Movies, Weird Science, right. So they saw that, and Punjab, or whatever his name is, comes over here, and he thinks that even though the system is stable, not one person in the millions of customer surveys sent out in the Windows operating system said, hey, by the way, can you have every external device plugged in talk and automatically auto-calibrate with absolutely no external analog input from the owner? Because if we're going to have, you should design that, because if you design that, you will get promoted, and then you will be able to buy a Ferrari, and then that cute hot blonde with the feathers 80 hair and the big boobs, she will go and have sex with you, Punjab. And that's why we have all this unnecessary fucking shit. You're an engineer. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
I know.
Sure.
I know you're it's not software engineering, but you're closer to ground zero than I am. Why do we have newer operating systems? What was wrong with Windows 7? It works everything fine now. Why do I need Windows 10? Why do we even start with Windows 8?
I don't think there really is a reason. I think they sort of add, they justify it by adding on conveniences, or, oh, this one's touch screen now, it's much more compatible with your portable devices, or whatever. They've got their reasoning behind it, but it's really just to get more money out of you. That's the only reason, really.
I can understand as the technology and bandwidth has changed. Like, okay, now we got cameras or web cameras that can film in super high resolution, so you need, well, that'd be more of a graphics card issue, but maybe there's something in the operating system that needs to handle that. The video games or whatever being played requires more oomph or more power. We're plugging in microphones there. So I understand there might be some upgrades or updates, but it's like the video game Assassin's Creed. They got to come out with a new operating system every 5 weeks. It's just like, no, technology has not changed this quickly that I need a new fucking operating system.
Yeah, an operating system. No, I mean, you need more RAM. You need a faster chip. You need whatever, a new graphics card, a new audio card, whatever it happens to be. But the way that the software talks to each other, I mean, there's security updates. I think maybe there comes a point where an older operating system just is too vulnerable and they need to do a big update to it.
Maybe.
But I think most of my struggles with Windows has always been shit just turns on its own, because there is more RAM now, and there are faster chips.
Punjab has to get laid, so he needs shit that you never asked for to turn on, so he can press his boss, so he can get the raise, so he can sleep with Bambi.
Right.
You better support
They need to make
Punjab
them.
in that.
It's the broken windows fallacy. It's planned obsolescence. It's all that stuff. And I'm sure there are still people using Windows XP out there. They're not on the internet, but they're
No.
using it for all the things. I mean, George R.R. Martin, he still writes on a word processor. It works for him. Doesn't fuck up. He knows how to use it. It's comfortable. It does what he needs it to do, and so he's stuck with it this whole time. So
I got a buddy who makes quite a tidy sum, where he will go around. They're becoming rarer and rarer, but he's got a client whose machinery will only operate on Windows, not Windows 7, Windows XP. So he pays my buddy basically a very hefty finder's fee to go find Windows XP operating machines, and then he goes and he brings them in there. And these machines are not hooked up to the internet; they're not going to be hacked or anything like that. Because to upgrade to the software that is needed to run on the modern day, Windows 7 or Windows 10 is in the tens of thousands of dollars. And so, in just hunting down an old XP machine, maybe for $100, if that even, some school goes out of business. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where Windows XP machines would be. I mean, it's got to be pretty old, or someone goes and they find a storage facility and look at all these, and he'll go get them. And then he gets a nice little percentage on that finder's fee, and he saves his clients, thousands of dollars.
Now, why did it say it again? Because I zoned out there for a second. Why does he need the XP computers?
Because this guy's machines runs on Windows, runs out of software that was originally programmed for Windows XP. Now there is, as new operating systems have been released, the company that releases this software has released new versions of their software. But the software costs around, right. So if you can find a Windows XP machine and just keep the old software,
right,
you can, and so he saves them, tens of thousands of dollars per licensee use or whatever.
He's installing the software with CDs.
Yeah, he's got CDs. Yeah, he's got the CDs, and the installation takes forever because it's a slow machine. But yeah, it's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. But
millennials are going, "What are CDs?
What are CDs? What are floppies?
What the heck are those?"
Oh, well, why you sad? You said you had a bad day. Why is DT sad?
I laughed when I saw your description of this podcast.
Well, it's kind of like
DT discussed why DT is sad.
DT
I never said I was sad.
Well, you didn't say you're happy. You kind of today it's horrible. It's been the worst day ever. No, wait, what did you say? My expectations of humanity has hit a new low. Was that it?
That's new lows. It's new lows, and it's sort of a good story. It's two news stories.
Okay,
you may have heard them both, but I haven't heard anybody link them together yet. Really.
All right,
and they say all that needs to be said. It's kind of like it's kind of like the DeLorean, it goes from 0 to 88 right away. There's not much in between. It's just bam, bam, and it's gone. It's done the job. It's gone. It's Back to the Future, Back to the Past.
So wait. So what you're saying is the people who wrote these articles were succinct and precise. They did their job and they went home.
No. I'm saying that the takeaway, or what the lesson is, has applied to it initially to the very powerful, and then that same thing that happened applied to the most innocent. And so there's everybody in between is now at risk. Everybody in between is a target.
Okay.
And there was only a week apart, and I learned about these stories in the same way on Sunday mornings watching This Week with George Snuffleupagus. So
wait, you were actually watching that show?
Yeah, I still
were you at the nursing home or something to get it? Did you watch it with the rest of the geriatrics?
It's an the coffee's good morning on Sundays, and I just kind of check in to see what's going on. I'm not usually paying very close attention, but these two stories in particular caught my eye. So
okay, well, what we got?
A week ago Sunday, so not this last Sunday, but a week ago from last Sunday, the story came up about Steve King, Representative Steve King, U.S. House of Representatives. And it was on This Week, and George Snuffleupagus shared this quote from him that said, from a New York Times interview, he was quoted.
Oh, wait, hold it. The New York Times is the source of truth. They told me so on the Twittergram.
Yes, exactly.
New York Times told me they're true, so I know it's true now.
You're starting to catch on. Quote, white nationalist, white supremacist, Western civilization, dash. How did that language become offensive? Question mark. And so you're looking at that at first blush, and you're saying, and it's saying, this is from a New York Times article. You'll look at that and you go, what fucking idiot said that? How fucking stupid would you have to be to say something that stupid?
It is akin to Roosh being pro-rape.
Yes, right.
They say, oh, Roosh is pro-rape. It's like, really? Really? What guy, even if he was a rapist, would say he's pro? Right. So to us people who have an IQ above 6, we know something is fishy.
Immediately. Right. So they ask Steve Scalise, who I have a lot of respect for. He's the guy that got shot up on the fucking baseball field by the Democrat terrorist James Hodgkinson, I think his name was. And so he kind of, this is the first time I've seen this, and George is, are you going to press for censure? Are you going to punish him? This clearly racist comment. So I'm like, my spider senses are tingling. It took me 5 minutes to figure out what happened, to figure out what actually happened. I find the original quote interview, and the interview at the quote New York Times interview. When you think interview, you think, it says New York Times person will ask a question and then Steve King will answer and ask a question. It'll be like almost like a transcript, right?
Like an interview.
Yeah, like an actual interview.
Yeah.
And so this was a quote in a piece that was titled "Before Trump, Steve King, the Agenda for the Wall and Anti-Immigrant Politics." There's a word in there that I can't even read my own writing, but it's basically saying that before Trump there was Steve King, and he set the agenda for the wall and anti-immigrant politics. The second paragraph of this article has a sentence that says, and long before Mr. Trump demonized immigrants, accusing Mexico of exporting criminals, ... I don't need to say anymore. You see right there, it's a hit piece, right? You see right there, it's not a news piece. They're using words like demonized in a hard news article that's supposed to be an interview that's basically a hit piece, just ripping Steve King a new one and including this one quote in there to prove their case that he's this racist piece of shit, right?
Right.
So everybody after this, the response to this wasn't like good old DT typing into Google Steve King. I can't remember what I even typed, but it came right up, a YouTube video of Steve King responding to this article before Congress to read it into the record of what actually happened. It was a 56-minute interview. He made a rookie mistake. He made a freshman mistake in not recording it. And it was a discussion. He thought it was a discussion about how he was talking about words and how the left has thrown around the word racist so much that now they're starting to throw around white supremacist, and they're starting to throw around white nationalists, and they're even starting to throw around Western civilization like that's racist. And he's basically saying, who's doing these things? The left is doing these things. That was the context for that quote taken out of context.
So this is no different than in the course of yours and my lifetime. We have uttered the word Nazi. We've uttered the word we've uttered the word homosexual. And someone could go back and say, Aaron Clary said, I'm ... Nazi ... homosexual. And what's worse is the fucking mainstream media ran with that. Is that what you're saying?
Wow. Well, it wasn't that bad, but it's pretty bad to take something that out of context to just smear this man. And
they have no morals.
And the Republicans fell for it. I mean, what happened as a result, the Republicans removed him from all the committees that he's serving on. Mitt Romney asked him to resign, the freshman senator, shoving his way into the House chamber politics. And then they passed a resolution basically condemning him,
Right.
where everybody voted it, including Steve King himself. And the only person that didn't vote for it was a Democrat who thought it didn't go far enough.
Right.
And
Okay.
so here it took me 5 minutes to look into this and realize this guy's getting this is being portrayed completely 180 degrees wrong. You might not like his immigration stance. You might not like that he's positive about the contributions of white people towards the history of humanity. You might not like those things, but he's not a racist. He's not going around with a Klan hood on, and he's not saying horrible things about other people, saying that they're no good bastards or whatever, like everybody's saying about him now. Right. So that proved to me that I told Mrs. DT that morning, I said, we hit a new low, where essentially the New York Times, completely not an honest broker, completely trying to destroy this man, and nobody's got his back. Everybody piled on, everybody, including himself. Because most of the resolution was fine. The resolution was like, because Steve King said these horrible things. That was the beginning of the resolution, and it said the House of Representatives yet again condemns white nationalism, white supremacy. There's a yet again in there. The resolution. Like,
we haven't changed our mind.
Do we need to pass laws twice now? We're just making sure that that we're
for the women's right to
vote.
We're anti-slavery. 160 years after the fact. In case you didn't notice that big Civil War we had, we're anti-slavery. Just to let you know.
And it's still going on. There's an article called Steve King's Offensive Quotes, and if you wanted to, we could look at it, and we basically agree with all of them. But yeah, we'll shortcut that. You get what I'm saying here. So what happened was that somebody very powerful in the public eye, someone who technically you sort of can lie about, because it's not libel, it's not a defamation, it's nothing like that. When you're in the public eye, people can criticize you.
Yeah, they can say whatever they want. Right.
Yeah, that's the job that he signed up for as a representative. He's able to take his lumps. He's a big boy. He's fought back as reasonably as he can. None of the Republicans have his back. They all decided, this is a fight we don't want to fight, with Martin Luther King Day coming up or whatever. Yeah,
perfectly
he said
timed.
something.
Yes,
he didn't deny that he might have said that. There was no recording. He was an idiot for not recording it. For not having evidence, and there's no, I don't even think there was
no recording. How does the New York Times have evidence?
Right, exactly.
So
you just have to believe them. You just have to believe them because it's a journalist, right?
My question is this: has the journalistic community, or at least the political community, condemned this article from the New York Times, pointing it out as bad journalism?
No.
Okay,
no.
All right.
Nope.
And here's an even dumber question: did the New York Times correct itself?
No. They've gone completely with it. If you type in Steve King, it's just all about how he's a racist, how he supports white supremacy, how he supports white nationalism, even though he came out immediately afterwards and said, that's not what I meant at all. We are having a discussion about how the left throws around these terms.
No, I got it. Here's where I am in the marathon race of politics. The finish line of the marathon race of politics is where you no longer give a fuck.
Right. Yeah.
All my colleagues, including you right now, are about the 3-mile mark right now. I have finished the race. I have taken a shower. I've gone home and I've lit up a cigar, and I'm watching some cowboy beat.
I'm telling you, this week, that's why I'm starting it. This is the one bookend, and then the other bookend's coming up. I'm sure you've heard of it, but this is the week that should convince anyone it's over. It's done. There's no point anymore. It's completely over. And that was the first part. I mean, that should have proved it alone, right?
Here's the fine. But this is just let's digest this first one before we go to the next one. And the Republicans, as of yet, still are piling on this representative.
Oh, essentially, it's over. Once they decided to strip him of everything, and once they decided to pass that resolution, they've knelt before Zod. They've decided to just bend over. Yep.
So the takeaway for us, and that's all that matters because we don't control Washington, we certainly
Right.
don't control the New York Times, and we certainly do not control the minds of millions of sheep that will just believe anything the New York Times says or if it's on the internet.
Right.
The takeaway for us is that there is no reason to have any faith in the news. Like anyone who works in journalism, you might as well trust lawyers. I'm trying to think. There is no lower form of scum than journalists right now.
Right.
Because if the New York Times, which, you know, I knew they had a bias, I knew there was a built-in bias, I knew there was a conscious bias, but you don't think they would defame or ruin somebody like this.
No,
That there might be this philosophical desire to adhere to reality, especially if they're promoting themselves as the purveyor of truth. No, everyone from the polished and refined Anderson Cooper and George Stephanopoulos and whoever else is on there, all the way to the shit piss scum, the bacteria growing on the shit piss scum who work at BuzzFeed or Salon or whatever. All of them are the same quality and caliber. Some are just some of them are just better polished turds. The others, it's all muckraking. The journalist industry, journalism and the media has absolutely no value.
Right.
And
this guy sat on the phone with him for 56 minutes, acting like he was having a legitimate conversation, a legitimate, intelligent conversation about language and about demeaning other people and all that, and got the quote he needed.
Okay.
Oh, I got him.
Okay. But again, you made it to the 3.2 mile marker now. I have finished Cowboy Bebop, and now I'm going to watch Kelly's Heroes. Everyone's takeaway is basically there's no reason to trust journalists anymore.
Right. And there's another takeaway, though, too, is that the Republicans, all of them, are pussies. Every single one of them.
Yeah, no.
They don't have your back. The minute that you even and he didn't do anything wrong, and that's going to be another theme here. He didn't do anything wrong. He made a mistake.
Yeah.
The other person I'm going to talk about literally did nothing wrong. But he made a slight mistake, and rather than being given the benefit of the doubt, just like Kavanaugh, right?
Right.
But with Kavanaugh, at least the Republicans had Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham came in there. Actually, I think that was the first time I saw a testy in all of Republican Congress. Yes.
So, okay. So now the news story. Have you heard the story about the Covington Catholic high school kids?
I didn't have a choice to, even though I kind of purposely try to avoid politics. Boy, that just comes right up. Yes, the kid was part of a protest or a march or something, and then some drunk Indian came up and yelled at him or something.
What happened is they were there for the March for Life.
Okay.
They were told to wait at the steps or whatever to get picked up by their bus.
Okay.
These 5 or 6 what are called Black Israelites.
Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah, Black Hebrew. Yeah, I know those guys. They're kind of funny.
They're sort of funny, but they're horrible, right? I mean,
no, I know, but it's kind of like they're the Wee Was Kangs, right? They're like,
I don't know what the hell. They're the master race. They believe not only that they're God's chosen people because
they actually believe they're a tribe of Israel.
Yes, they think they're the 13th tribe. Or
sure, whatever.
And they're awful. They just berate people, right? They just call them names and just horrible names, just trying to get attention. Whatever the fuck they're trying to do, I don't necessarily know. So anyway, but what was happening? They saw the kids with the "Make America Great Again" hats on and started just being horrible towards them.
Sure.
And I shouldn't say what.
Where'd
really
the Indian
happened.
guy come in?
I should start back. When I was watching This Week with George Snuffleupagus, again, a week after already losing faith because of the Steve King
ABC
situation.
News, right? ABC News?
ABC, this week.
George Stephanopoulos, he's got to be 60 years old, worked for Clinton, very professional. Right. This is their anchor man. This is professional journalist, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So he showed, the week before, he showed that quote out of context. This week, he shows, hey, this is what happened. There's a video going viral of a bunch of white
Catholic
boys wearing Trump "Make America Great Again" hats, surrounding a Native American elder and mocking him. That was the story.
Okay.
They surrounded him. They didn't let him move. They got in his way and they mocked him. Right.
Right.
What disrespect, what a bunch of racists, what a
All
bunch
right,
of white,
that's all we do.
you know. And so then all the videos started coming out of the context, right? And you saw that, yeah, they were having this altercation kind of. The black Hebrews were yelling at them. So then the kids started doing their high school chants, like
Okay,
their
good.
fight, 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 and all those kind of
Sure.
songs that you learn in high school. That's what they were doing.
Ziggy,
And
ziggy, ziggy, ziggy. Yeah.
yeah, and then as that was happening, the Indian comes over with the drum and walks up to the crowd and goes into the crowd. And the kids initially, I think, thought that he was joining them, like
Right.
he was on their side. So they started dancing along to his music and started singing along to his music.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And
God.
then I think they finally realized that something else was going on. But everybody parted out of his way except for one kid.
Yeah.
One kid decided to stand his ground.
Good for him.
And that's the smirking
And
kid.
that's the half a second that they focused on.
Yes.
The mainstream media. Right.
His name is Nick Sandman. He's a freaking hero. I mean, if I had a son like this guy, I'd be so proud of him for not. He's the only one of his buddies that didn't back away.
Yeah.
He stood his ground. He stayed calm. He tried to, he basically said after the fact, I was smiling to try to show him I was not his enemy, that he was smiling to try to diffuse the situation.
Right.
And that became basically the left going nuts, wanting the kid dead, wanting a school shooter to go in and destroy the school.
Because he was smiling at the American Indian dude?
Yeah, because he was smirking. He wasn't smiling. He was smirking, and they were mocking him. So now the same thing happened again, where including some Republicans, they piled on. They took at face value what was going on without enough information. They condemned the kid. They wanted all these kids expelled from school. The left wanted them dead. They wanted them doxxed. They wanted them to know where they live. All that horrible stuff, right? Steve King is a very powerful man. This kid is a kid.
Right.
So the only thing that's left are babies. And we all know that the left likes to kill babies too.
Right.
So, I mean, we're all at risk now. And this kid did literally, I mean, I'm not using that term figuratively.
No,
he literally
nothing.
did nothing. He just stood there, did nothing. And he is evil incarnate to the left.
Right.
And so for me, that was the media is 100% evil. Democrats are 100% evil. You cannot interact with them at all. Even if you do nothing, your life can be ruined. You do nothing, and they will ruin your life. Literally nothing.
What? Now let me ask you this: did the media do a mea culpa and an apology, and we're sorry when they found out that the kids were not in the wrong?
Most I think have. Some have doubled down. What's come out after this is they've unearthed a photo from 2011 of a Covington high school basketball game with students in the stands dressed in blackface.
Were they really dressed in blackface? Or?
And the context being in the same article, they're exposing it, and they're like, but the blackface is because they have these events called blackouts where they decide to all dress in black or paint their entire bodies black.
Okay.
To basically cheer for their team.
Oh,
it's got nothing.
Is the hoopla of this like equivalent to those kids in Baraboo, Wisconsin, where some of them were doing a Nazi salute? And
no, that's probably actually worse because they actually were dressed or were doing a Nazi
salute. But okay, all right. So here's. I guess this is even worse because these kids weren't doing anything. Those kids were just being stupid kids doing a Nazi. So that wasn't even newsworthy. But apparently everyone just were clutching their pearls over a bunch of dumbass kids being dumbass kids. Here, the kids weren't even just being dumbass kids. They got harassed by a drunk Indian and some by adults, right?
By grown men trying to intimidate them.
Yes.
And so they're our children aren't safe. Nobody's safe now. You do nothing. If there's a camera around and you're around leftists, you might just want to leave. If they're trying to provocateur, if they're trying to get you to say something, they will edit the video so that you look like the bad guy and they'll ruin your life. They are terrorists. They're evil. Yeah, they're absolute evil. 100%. Democrat, but you vote Democrat, you're fucking evil.
Oh
period.
yeah, no, I agree that I'm getting mighty tired of the naive, well-intended Democrat. Or I'm just for the little people. It's like, no, you have got to really look at the people you are voting for.
Right.
And I point to my dwindling, if barely any, number of Democrat friends where I'm like, that's your team. That's your team. You know, like when whatever the latest craziness, that all the insanity that comes out, I'm like, those are your people. Those are your people. You know, these are your people that want to do that to that person. Here's your people that are claiming, you know, this is, what was the latest thing that was crazy? What was the latest thing that was racist?
Well, it's this. This is the very
no. There's something. It was on BuzzFeed, so I didn't even bother. It was something like snowmen are racist. I don't know. It was something.
Yeah. I mean, how they do ridiculous shit like that.
Yeah, just right. And I'm like, that's not a Republican. Those are your people. Those are your people.
Right. So how I want to advance this story with you. I mean, that's the lesson, right? That we went from, in the DeLorean, we went from the very powerful being condemned for something he didn't do, for not doing anything wrong, right? To the least powerful, to somebody who did nothing, who didn't move, who just stood there. The guy went up to him and he didn't get out of his way. And so there was the standoff there, basically, because he's looking around at his buddies. They're all gone. He's surrounded. He was the one that was actually surrounded at one point. They're at least on his flanks.
Right.
And he stood his ground. He realized, I think he thought initially, oh, maybe this guy's on our side. And then when he just stood there and kept on banging the drum right next to his face, he's like, holy shit, something else is going on here. And I better not make a move. I better not move a muscle. Or something really, really bad could happen. And so he did nothing. He didn't move. He just stood there.
But hold it. If we're getting pissed off of kids with smug faces, what about that? He's got a way more smug face because he's born
David Hogg.
David Hogg. How come he, you know,
right.
You want to talk about punchable faces, you know, but that kid never. Well, I'm sure he did. Out of 320 million Americans, I'm sure some dumbass threatened to kill him or something like that. But I don't think,
because he was actually doing something. He was trying to take all our guns away. He was condemning all the.
I understand that, but a stupid child,
right?
I wouldn't give him the time of day. A stupid child's going to stupid child. So, what is the final takeaway then from the Back to the Future? Just it goes top to bottom. Everything. Everybody's under threat.
Everybody's at risk. You do nothing, you're at risk. If liberals and Democrats and leftists are around you, you are at risk. Period. I
see a couple things you guys can do. It's the Older Brother podcast. So let's give a little bit of wisdom.
That's why I wanted to advance it. I try to do. I don't like how everybody's just, you know, oh, look at what this person said. Look at what this person said. They're horrible. They're horrible. We know they're horrible. We now we know for sure they're 100% evil. They're filth, right? So let's advance the story. Let's advance down the field, and to use your marathon analogy. What do we need to do? I've advocated, you know, just completely cutting these people off in every aspect of your life. But I'm just curious as to what you think. Should be done in this reality. What should we do?
Well, here's for younger people, but people in general. I'm going to talk about younger people specifically. Protesting or going to rallies is stupid, and not because of what can happen, but I cannot think of a bigger waste of time, effort, money, and resources that could be better spent. Successful people or people with things going on do not protest. Right. Not because of opportunity costs or they don't care. It's just, it doesn't do anything. So you look at the women at the Pussy Hat March. Remember that?
Yep.
Now none of them had jobs anyway, and you know, nothing happened to the economy. I'm sure some husbands were gratefully not nagged that day. But think about what multiple millions of women marched in multiple cities for what? For what? All you to raise awareness, to get on the TV, to wear a stupid hat. How much in money was spent on hotels, food, restaurants, lost labor, lost wages, because of that. These kids going to the rally for life. Okay, you can do that, I suppose. But how much labor was wasted with these kids? How much time was wasted? Any protest, I just don't get, because how do we participate in politics?
We vote.
You vote. That's it. You vote. Now, you could do what I do and other people do with the internet. At one point in time, back in the olden days, protesting might have had some sway. But right now, Stefan Molyneux farts out one of his crappiest videos, and his crappiest videos will reach 50,000 people. You won't find a rally that gets 50,000 people in the state or local capital, right? And he can do that maybe consuming 100 calories of energy and less than $1 worth of expenses, because the technology of the internet allows you to reach so many people. So that is a way more effective. If you really want to convince people, write cogent arguments on the internet, make compelling cases on the internet, use your social media if you want, but wasting the money, time, effort, calories, labor, and resources to go physically down and protest, I can't think of a less more economically inefficient way to participate in politics. Now,
I guess the only thing I'd say about that is, I mean, for me, I agree with you. I agree with you after this event. That's 100% true. Because I mean, if this event didn't happen, we wouldn't have this glaring 100% irrefutable example of how far gone we are. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if this doesn't convince people, they are not convinced.
No,
They
they're
will
not.
never be convinced. And if we lost, we lost the house. We lost the house with this 2 years of insanity. And my point, a lot of people are blaming social media for this and stuff. No, it's us. Social media is people. It's not some thing. It's actual people. And that's the problem. And you got to come to terms with, we're probably too far gone. And so, yeah,
well,
exactly.
I wrote this book called Enjoy the Decline three marathons ago, but apparently no one read it.
But you know what? But I mean, I always go, I don't think it can get worse, and then it gets worse. But this, when you go and you start attacking children for doing nothing, they'll get worse. It'll keep getting worse. There's no bottom. It goes straight to hell, right? There's no rock bottom. They just keep digging through the muck and slime and filth until they reach hell. I mean, that there is no bottom. It's a void. And so, but if it doesn't convince people, you don't waste your life. Don't go out there and protest and put yourself at risk. Like you said, there's different ways you can fight the fight if you want to keep fighting. And I sort of still want to keep fighting because these people are fucking evil. I want they're the big fucking dragon that you're
gonna love my next post, and you're gonna love my next post.
Okay,
it's 18 pages long.
Oh,
yeah, I thought
you're lucky. I like to read.
I thought it was going to take me 2 hours to write, and maybe it would be 4, and then I realized the scope of what I was trying to tackle, and it's going into the third day of me writing this, and but you will, because it does address your concern as to how depraved and how low will they go.
Right.
And I think this article or treatise or essay is really what it is, explains they will go to absolute zero. And if they could go into negative or below absolute zero, they would find a way. But I'm not going to explain that there. But getting back to helping out any of the younger brothers and sisters out there.
Yeah, the second point to follow up before
the second point about protesting is not only is it a waste of your time, but as DT points out, that's where you're going to run into the crazies. That's where you're going to run into a drunk Indian walking into your group. That's where you're going to run into the Black Israelites. That's where you're going to run into Antifa. And you have to realize that how it's not rolling around pigs you can't determine. These people have leftist protesters in general, whatever their stripe, really have nothing else going on. Do you think the women at the Pussy Hat March are wearing fucking pussy hats on their heads, guys? Do you think they're going to go back home to some rewarding marriage with a guy who's ripped and they got a real career? Do you think the Black Israelites, they all go back to their CPA, Big Four accounting firm that they're working for, their engineering firm? Do you think Antifa goes back and the woman raises her kids and maybe goes to church? That is all they have in life. And not only is that sad and pathetic, but you have to realize, since it's so sad and pathetic, that's all they have in life. They're mental. Yeah. And if you dare threaten or they view you as a direct threat to what they have as the only value in their life, whatever, are protesting, environmentalism or immigrants' rights or whatever, take your flavor. And so you might be going there like, hey, this is fun, or yeah, I really believe in the right to life. I really believe in building a wall. I really believe in lower taxes. You're doing that not only from a more intellectual, philosophical, intellectually honest perspective, but you also have a life. These people don't. That's all they got. And, if that's all they got, go ahead, corner a squirrel, see how rabid it gets. Its life is all it has. And so this is where you get assault, you get acid in your face, you get
bike locks
and punches. And then it's not, or that, on the other side, let's be intellectually honest, the gal that got ran over at what was it, in Virginia?
It was Charlottesville. That's
Charlottesville. Okay,
that's the one example. It's the one example.
Well, I'm just pointing out someone died. It doesn't matter on what side. You're going to get a group of people that are all emotionally charged. One may be rational, the other may not be rational. But you get people in a group of people. Your instincts go up. You're not aware of what the law is anymore. It's like battling in the battlefields of Hastings in 1066. You're like a Viking, or not Viking. You're a Norman versus whoever the hell else fought the Normans, the French, I don't know. And then you make mistake. And then when the police come in there and disperse you, now you got yourself a criminal record, or you got yourself a broken leg, or the Indian guy had to, what is it? You can get it if they spit in you.
Hepatitis.
So I got vaccinated. Hepatitis, yeah, or tuberculosis or whatever else. There's no reason to go to these damn protests. Carry a gun. Here's another example. Did you ever go downtown Minneapolis during the 90s when you were young to go party?
No.
Do you want to go to downtown Minneapolis when I get back to go party?
No.
Why don't we want to go there, DT?
Well, one, it's more dangerous than other places, and the most important reason, it's a leftist hellhole.
Well, I was going to say, one, I have no desire to go to loud nightclubs and hit on 20-something ditzy chicks. Two, there's a chance, not a high one, but an increased chance that we might have to pull our guns and shoot somebody. Three, the highest risk. You know what the highest risk of going downtown Minneapolis is?
The highest risk.
Yeah, we're not going to get in fights. I've never gotten in a fight in downtown Minneapolis.
A homeless person comes up to you. Yeah.
Nope. No, this is almost guaranteed. This is almost a guarantee of what's bad thing to happen to you if you go to downtown Minneapolis.
Happen to you, huh? I was just going to say
happens to everybody. Happens to everybody.
You're stuck in traffic. I don't know.
Well, okay, that too. You're close. It's related to traffic.
It's related to traffic. You have to pay for parking. I don't know.
No, how do you pay for parking?
You're spending money.
You go into the parking ramp, you pay for parking. What if the parking ramp is full, DT?
Oh shit.
Or what if they say green sign, you can park here? What inevitably happens?
Green sign, it fills up, right?
No, God almighty. You
just got to spell it out now. I'm lost.
Oh, for Christ's sake. You get your car ticketed or towed. That's what happens. The city of Minneapolis wants to ticket and tow you. That's what's going to happen. And for what? What?
To spend money in their city.
To spend money in the city and to not meet any hot chicks or actually anyone that you're going to want to keep. And just to, I don't know, get blue balls and get drunk and get a hangover the next day. Forget it. There is no reason to go to downtown, just as there's no reason. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a cough there. There's no reason to go to these protests.
Right.
You want to beat the left. You want to beat the parasites of society. Go work. Go spend time with your family. Work a career. Vote, and then make a convincing. What you think that the Indian guy or the Black Hebrews are going to write an equivalent encountering treatise on economics and labor that I did in 3 days? You think they even know how to spell?
Let's see. I think they're more convincing because I think most people are stupid, horrible creatures.
Why are leftist protesters more convincing?
Because they just appeal to emotion.
Okay, their message is more.
Yeah, there's an easy bad guy. It doesn't take much to join their group.
Right.
You know, there's
Okay.
no
Okay.
responsibility. You can blame everything, and it's working. And that's sort of my point. And that's why this combination of stories is like convinced me 100% we're making the right move and moving to South Dakota. 100 fucking percent.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
this
No,
thing
I know.
this thing is going down, and you need to do all you can to take care of yourself and the people you care about, and fucking write off everybody else. It's not your fault. It's not your responsibility. You're not responsible to support these people. You're not. I mean, like you said, the reason why they're able to do what they're doing in their shallow lives that have no meaning is
Mhm.
because there are productive people that are supporting them.
Right.
And
But
how I would say that we advance the ball is, yes, work your ass off, save up the money, get out of debt so you can stop working. That
right.
would be my answer, is that the harder that you work, the more you're supporting these motherfuckers.
Right.
That
But here,
you're
may I
supporting.
point out a positive, a little silver lining to the cloud there that's dampening your day there, DT.
It's not dampening my day. I'm glad for the clarity that the
Okay. All right.
clouds have parted, and I see clearly now that there's no hope. That's sort
Eh,
of it's a bad message, but in a way it's good because you're able to just wash your hands of it.
right. Right. I would say that if you are filming the Black Israelites and there's a random Indian guy walking and that they're going to go harass some high school kids, you're probably seeing the worst of the worst. The vast majority of leftists are not like that. Oh, they're brainwashed. They're dumb. Don't get me wrong. But when you're filming protests, you really do have the worst of the worst.
Well, I would say, yeah, for there, but these two examples show that worst of the worst automatically spreads to everybody based
They
on
get
the
more
reaction.
credibility than honest people.
Yeah, it just, the way that people reacted to this, and just without evidence and without the context on both these cases, and how everybody just condemned these people. This was like a
Mhm.
huge viral thing, right? It wasn't
Right.
just an isolated thing. Yeah, you're going to see the worst of the worst there, but the reality is the worst of the worst is everywhere. Social media has revealed what people really are.
Mhm.
I don't think it is. I always had the question: is social media just showing the worst of the worst, or is it showing who people truly are? And the fact that it's spread like it's spread, and the only reason why Steve King got uh, thrown under the bus and this innocent kid did not, is because there was more evidence, there was more context, there was a recording, there was a video that could show that the mainstream media completely
Was lying their ass
100%
off.
lied.
Right. Right.
They completely 100% lied. But they see, the reason why they do that is because they know that most of the people that make the snap decision will not pay attention to how they were wrong.
Right.
They'll
Or
just
the
file that
correction that
away.
comes in the nail.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
they know that it's like a war of attrition or whatever. They just know that every time they do this, they gain more and more people to their side.
Mm.
And I think it's insurmountable now. The way that Mrs. DT reacted to this is basically, yeah, she's never voting Republican again. That was the Steve King story. I'm never voting Republican again. I'm voting for Trump, and that's it. And the way I've reacted to it is, yeah, the only thing that's going to save this now is Trump declaring martial law, and
Yeah,
just
that's no. At which, if
that.
I was president, I would have done that the first day in
Yeah,
office.
they're
I would have,
traitors.
I
Yep.
would have just said, no, we're cleaning house. We're gonna have a new civil war. It starts now.
Yep.
Um,
That's the only thing that's going to solve this. One side is going to declare martial law, and you
yeah,
might as
no,
well
and
have it be your
it
side.
no, you're right, because I think maybe not the next Democrat president. I don't think they'll do it. But when we get our first millennial president, who's a Democrat. Oh wait, there only are Democrat millennials. When we get our first millennial Democrat president, they will, without a doubt, I see them declaring martial law,
Yep.
and because that's their ideology. I just don't.
And
I don't see any
it'll be
fairness.
based on a lie. You know, they'll lie to target people.
Mhm.
Where the truth is, there are traitors. This country is filled with about half of people who are treasonous, basically.
But here's a question: what if more than half the population is treasonous? By democracy, that's
Yes.
the law.
Right. Exactly.
See, and that's
That's exactly it.
It's kind of, this is why I'm also now looking overseas where it's just, you just can't rest. It's like, okay, I got this place, got to sell it now. I'm in South Dakota. It's like, oh, yeah, I mean, there's no rest. It's like, oh, now I gotta look at the Philippines. Now I gotta fly to Thailand. Now I gotta look at Poland. Now it's cold there, and it's a weird fucking language. Like there's just no fucking rest. And then there's no guarantee either. Over in Poland, they might go and vote socialist. You never know. Cell phones have made their way into the hands of precious young girls and boys everywhere, and then they become Americanized or Westernized. They're like, hey, this socialism thing is great. They don't remember the Iron Curtain. Their grandparents and parents do, but they don't. But I try not to get too worked up about it.
I'm not worked. For me, this is just, it's like, okay, I have been everything that I suspected to be true.
Mhm.
And that with the election of Trump, sort of, I kind of was forced to reevaluate, right? It's like, oh, Trump won. So maybe we do have a change.
No, I never. Oh, did you actually think that?
I did.
Oh, you foolish boy.
I did. I thought maybe we're turning a corner.
No,
it was worth the 2 years of hope. It was worth the 2 years of hope to find out, right?
No,
but
I don't have hope. Hope will fuck you in the ass. Fuck hope.
But I mean, if there was a chance, there's a chance. You're saying there's a chance, right? So you're telling me there's a chance.
No.
And now I'm fully, I mean, with the Democrats winning the House in the midterms here, and then these series of stories starting pretty much at Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh is when it started, where you just thought, holy shit, how low are these people going to go? And they just keep going lower and lower and lower until they're attacking children who have done nothing. All they have done is wore a hat. That's it. And so,
since you're not in a bad mood, I'm glad you're not in a bad mood. You sounded agitated and worked. I'm glad you're not, though. I'm glad you're not worked up or agitated about this.
I was terse because I have that dumb phone and I can't text a lot of words. That's why it sounded like, oh, it's very short and dark. Ooh, he must be in a bad mood. No, it's just my phone.
Good. You want to do something a little more lighthearted and fun?
Sure. We do have some super chats whenever you want to get to those.
Let's take a look at the super chats, and hopefully they won't be as dour or sad as the media lying in the fourth branch of government hating on its people.
So of course you know who went first.
It would be Ava Mendez, my true love, my one and only Ava Mendez. Finally admitted she tuned into the podcast, and her question is for $1 million because she's a millionaire. Aaron, when can I come over? And the answer is now. Is that the question? And who made the $1 million donation? Is that
unless Ava Mendez is transitioning and is a tranny now that's named Atham El Deco?
Well, Atham is a tranny, yeah. Okay, well there you go.
A tranny.
What's
tranny
their favorite
Ava
Mexican
Mendez?
transsexual up to nowadays?
So he said, "You are late" for $2.
What do you mean I am late?
We were not late. We were right on time.
Yeah.
And then for $6.66, he follows that up with, Clary got sick last week because he pushed too hard trying to compete with the young dudes on Fitbit. Wah ha ha ha. Clary equals old.
I kept up. I got 3rd or 4th place. I'm beating everybody now, and I'm sick. I did go for a little bit of a walk, but
I did notice that your voice is a little gravelly and deeper than normal. So.
Yeah, two nights ago I got hit with it because I pushed my body too much. I went too much hiking and worked out and painted trim and all this other stuff. But now my body is like, nope. And when I get sick, I obey it.
Yes.
And what's great about getting sick, here's the thing that's great about getting sick. I will eat whatever the hell I want because I got to give my body everything possible. So I was eating pho and ramen, and I had the best Italian sandwich I've ever had over at this cafe over in Anthem, not Anthem. It's a town to the south. Anyway,
for all those listening, when I was sick, I decided to do the voiceover for your Clary podcast intro.
Oh, that sounded great. That's why you sounded so good.
Yeah, that's why I sounded really
Clary
good.
podcast.
That was my real voice. Sick. So
starring.
Right.
Sponsored by assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, that's me. That's old DT with a cold.
Yeah.
So Nick Schulanner here for $1.99 says DT should listen to Scrooge's "I Hate People" song. I should. It's like Scrooge McDuck or something.
Yeah, are we talking like, is it a band called Scrooge? Or are we talking like
look it up real quick
a
here,
holiday?
Scrooge, I Hate People. I mean, there's all kinds of great hate songs. So
yeah. Oh, did you find
people. Let's see what it's.
Is it Bill Murray
musical?
Scrooge?
No, it's Scrooge the musical.
Oh,
it might be. Is it? No, I thought maybe it was the Muppets at first. Scrooge almost looked like Michael Caine there, but it's not. So it's a Scrooge movie.
Well, don't play it because I don't want to get
I won't. No,
copyright strike or
nope.
I want Google getting sand in its vagina.
I'll listen to it later. So let's see. We'll scroll down here. Bacon Maldito.
Good old Bacon.
Says, few things are more satisfying than pointing out anti-white racism and having people assume I'm white. I'm mostly black. More fun doing it in person. I love that. I love how he goes, I'm mostly black.
Didn't somebody get busted saying we can't all have, it was a black lady and she says we can't all have white privilege like you, and then she didn't realize she was talking to a black guy?
Yes, exactly. I wonder if, there's been a few famous albino blacks, and I wonder what they have to say about that whole thing. I
wonder. Famous albino blacks, none are coming to mind right now.
Well, I mean, relatively famous, right? I mean, there was a comedian that was he actually was a comedian at. Did you ever go to Comedy Sports in Minneapolis?
Unfortunately, once I did.
You did?
Horrible. Yeah.
This guy was hilarious, though. I mean, he was fantastic, and he was a black albino, and he ended up being. See, here's how weird I am with movies. He ended up being an extra in kind of a little disturbing scene in End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm watching Arnold Schwarzenegger and I'm like, this guy looks really weird. Oh, he's a black albino. Hey, that's that guy that I laughed my ass off because he was so fucking funny.
Well, here, it's what I suspected. You will have the facial features of a black individual.
Yes. Yep.
But then, the hair is they got to wear, white almost. But then I think they got to wear contacts because aren't your eyes red or something?
I don't know about the eyes thing, but
it looks kind of. Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's weird as hell looking. I won't lie. But you could see the facial features. Like, okay, it really is just hue. You
just wonder what.
No, you could pass yourself off as white. If you just a little bit of touch up, or you actually look kind of like a redhead almost.
Yeah.
So you could, I could see where a black guy who was an albino could pass himself off as white, and I bet you they'd hear some real interesting conversation.
Yeah, right. That's your white privilege talking. What, my disease? Is that what you're saying, or what? I mean, being an albino is not. It's like a genetic.
Yeah, it's not a disease. It's a
thing, right?
It's something. I don't know. What are you calling black people defective there, DT? What are you saying? What do you mean, you people?
Now the New York Times.
You people.
The New York Times will take that out of context.
Oh,
everybody condemn me for it, right?
Self-confessed gay Nazi Aaron Clary said, "I hate black people." News at 6. George Stephanopoulos. What do you think of Aaron Clary hating on black people? Well, I think he should apologize immediately, and then I'm kicked off of YouTube.
Right. But it would be interesting to hear from. I mean, if they do experience this kind of anti-white racism, right? Like, you're not really a black person because you're an albino. I mean, talk about having.
I do know. I do know this. This is sad, but I do know, at least in some circles, there is debate as to how black you are. Like, if you happen to be lighter colored skin, or a couple too many settlers got into your lineage tree there, you're not black enough. Heck, that was a thing with Obama, right?
Obama, yep.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, he's half white, he's half black, but he's not black enough. Like, really? Yeah, it's just, I know
Well,
he's
they
not.
tried to say he didn't have any slave blood, and he didn't, because it was a black immigrant that was his daddy.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
So they did say that.
But I'm thinking like this is the dumbest fucking argument.
Oh yeah, it's stupid.
Like,
Yeah.
what, don't you have anything better to do? And it's like, no, apparently the mainstream media does not have anything better to do.
No.
I don't know.
So our favorite mostly black Bacon Maldito.
Oh, hang on. Let's plug his site. The goddamn bacon.
The
right?
goddamn bacon.
The goddamn bacon.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. You talk about him a little bit. I want to make sure I got the right.
I don't know anything else about him. I just found out the guy was black, which means we got to kick him off the show. By the way, I mean you got to keep sending us money, but we got.
He said he's mostly black. So the goddamnbacon.com.
Yeah, I think the goddamnbacon.com.
Okay, let's see.
I'll look it up.
There it is. The goddamn bacon's column. The truth weaponized. The goddamn bacon. Rants of reason from a rouge philosopher. Nothing personal. It's just reality.
Kind of want bacon now.
Oh, bacon's great.
Yeah, bacon would be good.
Bacon breakfast. That's what I'm on right now. I probably mentioned it before. I'm all on it. I love it. The bacon breakfast.
Admittedly, I get to eat whatever I want, but it kind of sucks and not having a female around, because like there's no one to pamper you. You can't play that game, like act like you're a cripple and get everyty handed to you. Get totally sick, pampered. Yeah.
A guy cold or what? A man cold.
Man cold. Yeah. I gotta like get out of the bed, and I gotta actually go to places. I gotta do things.
They did research on that, and they actually confirmed it though. They confirmed that men being sick is worse than women being sick. It's something with our brains or something.
Oh, I'm not.
They confirmed it. We're not like lying when we're actually feeling like shit. It's like we actually do feel like total shit.
Well, I feel like shit, but I don't think I've ever had a cold where I've been wiped out. Like if I've had a cold, okay, I'll still get work done. I'll still go to the grocery store. You just feel like crap. I've never had it where I'm debilitated. No, I've had the flu or food poisoning where, then you're knocked out for a day or two. But yeah, when I get the cold, I won't lie to you. It's really nothing. I mean, if you cough, you maybe get slightly worse sleep. But it's almost a draw, because usually I can pull the scam of getting the GF to think that, oh, I'll take care of you. Oh yeah, I'll go get soup. Here's your video game controller. Thank you. And I'm just blasting away at the video games, dominating, and I'll go back to acting like a cripple.
But I mean, if you're really laid up, then yeah, you are feeling it. I'm the same way. If I'm sick and it's not that bad, I'll get shit done. But if I'm laying down, it's because I am debilitated. So
no, this cold is like what is it, the 1 through 5 hurricane level? This is like a tropical storm. This is like a 1, because after this I'm probably gonna go get some pho, and then I'm gonna try my new bowling shoes I got on the internet over at the bowling alley, and I'll go.
I heard you talk about pho, but I won't make you explain that again. I can't remember what it was.
It's Vietnamese soup. That's all it is.
Okay.
And it's got really good
in it, right? It's got a lot
of
stuff in it, or
no. The reason you get it is it's hot and it's spicy. Basically makes you sweat and burns out your cold. But there's like noodles and broth and chili peppers, and then it depends what kind of pho you want.
I was thinking about the tea. You had some kind of tea that you like too.
Boba tea.
Boba, that's the sweeter tea, right?
That's the sweet tea, yeah. And then they put little bits of jelly in it, and boba, and which are honey.
So you like pho and boba.
The Asians got it going on in food. Americans pretty much dominated in everything except food. We're pretty basic there. But I think the Asians, the Mexicans, the Italians. I mean, that's
where all the spices are grown. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's just amazing food. I don't like Indian food. I don't know why. I just don't like it. But oh man, Asian food, and over here in Vegas, you got Asian restaurants open 20, and not like the hole in a wall Chinese place that makes the same sloppy chicken fried rice. I'm talking like you can get pho, you could get ramen, you could get sushi any time of the day here.
Yeah.
And so you just got to be willing to drive to go get it. And
we do good barbecue here.
In America,
in the
yeah.
States. Yeah, that's I was trying to think what's kind of America's claim to fame for food, and I would say good barbecue, good,
Bourbon and barbecue, that's
yeah,
about it.
slow cooked, the smoked shit, and not smoked shit, obviously, but you know what I mean. So
Yes.
Bacon, our mostly black friend, good
Mhm.
loyal listener here, Bacon, for another $5. So he gave like over $10 here to say
Already.
this thing.
Okay, again,
Yeah.
guys, you don't have to donate the money unless you have it, so don't feel like you have to.
So P.S. You started your damn cast right before my shift again. Curse you, Cappy, for not
What?
being considerate of my schedule.
I
Laugh
thought that
out
he would
loud.
want that. He's listening to it now. How
Laugh
is he
out
complaining
loud.
about this? All right. All right.
Just kidding,
Oh,
JK.
all right.
Hope all is well.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks, Bacon.
Cappy's in a good mood today, so all is well, I think.
Yeah,
Except for
for
his
being
cold.
sick, I've been in great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just happy this cold isn't as bad as it could have possibly been. I'll
Bacon
tell you
gave
this.
some.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing is I'm happy I'm on like the last closing paragraphs of that 18-page post I put together. That's
A whole chapter in a new book, basically
yes,
18 pages.
yeah, it was, and that's 8 by 11 because like how long is this post? Because you can't tell on the internet. So I copied the text that I pasted in Microsoft Word, and it's bad when the Microsoft Word just doesn't spit out a word count, but the word count is tallying and the pages are tallying. You're like, oh, this is, and I'm like, oh, 18 pages. Okay, that's a little bit long, but I won't lie. I'm hopeful that this article goes viral because it is very deep and philosophical, addresses many things. I think it's very current and forward looking. But I have my connections in the interwebs world, and I do not abuse them. I only send them stuff in the publishing world if it's actually very good. And they usually will just take me on my word and throw it up and post it. So it's kind of like I got a nitrous in the car. I can hit the nitro button if I want and get a boost. But this article should. That's the thing. It's kind of like escape velocity. Like everyone's got their regular reading group, and I've always wanted to be able to like go and get other people's, readership and like, hey, but you got to get that escape velocity to get beyond yours. Have other people actually post it on their social media so that other people might actually read it and like, oh, hey, and then you break into this whole other encampment of like-minded individuals whose Venn diagrams never came over yours. And then overnight, I double my reading audience and then double my income overnight, just like that, DT.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
Yep, it would.
So Bacon's got one last one.
He's just working for us now.
$13 or something total. He says, take solace that leftists ruin their own lives too. And that sort of was the point you were making, I think. He must have said that before you said it.
Think about what I know. I spoofingly, mockingly said, where does the drunk Indian go when he goes home after harassing the Catholic kids? Where did those black Israelites go after they were done harassing the kids? Again, they're not going back to become an engineer or something like that. But no, really, think about where they go. Well, some government housing, if that. I mean, how much? If some of them might be homeless.
According to this, I mean, people have looked into this Nathan Phillips guy. He's the quote drunk Indian. I don't know if he was exactly.
Well, was he drunk or was he?
I don't think.
I don't know. You said he
probably.
came staggering. All right.
He came over with a drum. So, and if you believe him, his motives were sort of noble. I mean, he came over there to try to put himself between the black Israelites.
Bullshit! No, don't give me this crap. He's some bored guy with jack fuck all shit to do.
He's been caught in a bunch of lies, so you can't really trust anything that he says. But for a time in his past, apparently, he lived in a teepee outside the White House for a month.
All right, there you go. All right.
So he's a leftist activist, and that's what he does.
Remember the guy who was quote the representative of the homeless tent city in Minneapolis, and he got busted for drug possessions and dealing narcotics.
Yes.
Okay, did they close that down? Is the tent city gone now?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention to that stuff.
It hasn't been in the news.
So yeah.
Well, they had all pride and they were all going to do it and everything. I wonder. Hang on, let's look that up. I do
It would
want to
be
know.
great. They should have done like a carbon footprint to that thing. That would have been the left eating its own, because they were carting in all kinds of firewood to keep them warm.
Firewood. There's no fire hazard
I'm
there.
looking at all this great wood, and I'm like, shit, I could, that's multiple days at my compound of heat. And they're just burning it, letting it go into the atmosphere. So
yeah. WCCO. No, it's November, December. Transition to Navigation Center from Minneapolis, Tent City begins. Oh, so they're going to the Navigation Center.
ooh, that sounds very official.
I'm sure they're going to navigate. Yep. You're going to take 50-year-old drug addicts and you're going to navigate them. We're going to rehabilitate you. Rehabilitate them into what? Let's look up the Navigation Center. Minneapolis. Seriously, guys, you want to look on the happy side of the leftists. Okay, fine, they get all this government aid and all that other stuff, but look at they waste their lives.
Right.
These aren't 18-year-old kids at this quote navigation center. This is 40, 50, 60, or sometimes 70-year-old people. Their entire lives they've been homeless and they've been on drugs or booze.
So it's like they don't know how to navigate reality. Is that why they're calling it the Navigation Center? I mean, it's
whatever,
not like
rehab. Oh, we got to get you counseling. All of it's bullshit. If counselors and social workers actually wanted to help these people out, they'd put them off in a camp like Joe Arapaho did down in Phoenix in Maricopa County. You take out all the booze and the drugs. You'd make sure that all they got was food, clothing, water, and shelter. Make sure that they were taken care of. You detox them, and then you put them through a fucking drill instructor academy where they get their fucking shit. This nice touchy-feely bullshit never works. And the only reason they do that is so these worthless fucking prissy little swipple girls from the suburbs with their consulting or their counseling degrees can go and get a government fucking check and make, twiddle their twat because they're helping the community. That's all. And then these guys, to show an honesty about me, it never actually helps these poor people get out of poverty.
Did you add an extra T to consulting?
No, no.
You didn't? Okay, good.
No.
That'd be a good term. That would be a good coined phrase there.
Yeah.
A little coined term. Consulting with an extra T.
Navigation Center for Homeless, nearly complete. This is December of 2013. Let's see what this looks like. The new Navigation Center on Cedar Avenue in South Minneapolis is a work in progress. All 3 living pods will house roughly 120 people moved from the homeless encampment.
It's like they're going to Mars. It's like they're going to Mars. It's a living pod, and we need to navigate our way to Mars. We're navigating our way to Mars in our living pods. What?
So it's gonna want to play a video. But you know what these living pods are?
They're like containers, maybe.
They're worse. So you know how the county will have their salt depots?
Yes.
Where they keep all the salt. What covers the salt?
It's like a tarp. Yeah.
It's like a big ass tarp. That's what this is.
Okay.
They're just
so it's like it's a yurt. They're building a bunch of yurts for them.
Not really yurty. They're more Quonset hut in shape. They're long. Okay. They're basically inflatable barracks. They're kind
of those called wigwams? Are those wigwams?
I don't know. Why are you always going with this eccentric housing?
The Indians would live in those. What were they called?
They lived in wigwams. Yes.
Yeah, they looked like the long curved buildings, wigwams, right?
That's
very racist. They're calling them the living pods, where they're actually wigwams for the Native Americans that they're housing.
You know what this is bigoted against? Dolphins. Because don't dolphins swim in a pod?
Yes, they do.
How dare they insult the dolphins like this? All right. Pod 1 is nearly full. Pod 2 has framing and covering up to fit. These things should take a day max to put up. For fuck's sake, you're pitching tents.
Right.
Crews are installing flooring and heating, and the space should be operational by Saturday. Pod 3 will be online Wednesday. The 3 living pods have 40 cots each. Oh, yeah, nothing bad's going to happen here. Absolutely nothing's bad's going to happen here. Tuesday, 10 people moved in. Wednesday, after another 14 were transferred to the center, and a total of 40 were in there by the end of Thursday. Our tent is with this is to get as many people safely indoors into a better environment as quickly as possible. Steve Horsfield of Simpson Housing Services said at the encampment, with the city of Minneapolis spending $1.5 million to get this navigation center up.
Intense.
The city of Minneapolis, I'm glad I moved out. Glad you guys
God.
paid for that.
But that's what I mean. That's where it's like, if you're like us, you need to work hard, save your money, spend no money so that you can escape these leftist hellholes. Because they're just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse until they take everything from you. So you do need to start planning your exodus.
How would you like to be the cop that's got to do his daily route there?
Right, through the Wigwam Central Navigation.
The Wigwam.
Now
I got to look up and see what a wig. Hang on, what's a wig?
I thought a wigwam was sort of like an army barracks, like it's
no, it looks more like a
or like an air hangar, like a small air hangar, wasn't it?
Most of the pictures I have here, they look basically kind of like an igloo made out of wood.
Okay.
So they're spherical, but there's one here that kind of does have more of an elongated shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them are basically
maybe there's a different name for that. But...
igloo in shape. Yeah.
Say, did you see the super blood wolf moon?
No. There was a hike over at Red Rock Canyon where you could go up to the top, but the Las Vegas area, I think it was last night or the night before that, there were gusts of up to 65 miles an hour coming out of the canyon. Yeah. And it was cold and miserable, and I was like, nope, not going to do it.
And you couldn't see it in the city. It got dark enough.
What, the moon was a full moon and it has a slightly different hue this time? What did I miss?
Oh, it's very red and dark. Yeah.
Okay. It was very spooky looking. Okay.
Yeah, it's very spooky looking. Yeah.
All right.
Because when it was starting, it's like you could be outside and go take a hike outside in the full moon, and it's bright enough it's really bright, right?
Uh-huh.
And then by the time our time, it was like 10:41 Central Standard Time. You look outside, there's no shadows, no nothing. It's like it all of a sudden looks like it's a new moon out there, and you go outside and you can see it.
Was it an eclipse?
Yeah, it's a lunar eclipse.
Oh, it was an eclipse. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking like, well, what? Because when you said it got red, I'm like, well, wait, if that would be determined by local atmospheric conditions, like the amount of, dust in the air or particulate and cloud cover would color the moon there. But it was an eclipse.
Yeah, it's a lunar eclipse, and the reason why it's red is because the only light that reaches it is the longer wavelengths that
around
the Earth. So it's sort of like. It's sort of like if you were standing on the moon, you would look back at the Earth and it would probably look like a big red halo around it. And hitting you.
Right.
Or like a sunset, around the Earth.
Okay.
And then that's the only light that hits it when it's in the shadow. So
cool.
So that's why they call it the blood moon, and that's why it's in, all the end of the world stuff in the Bible. The moon will turn as blood. Because that's how the eclipses always look. So
all right. Well, I'm glad I learned our little bit of astronomy today. What else we got for super chats? Anything?
We just got another one here from Krillin876. I think you know him, right?
These guys are all like the Royal Order of the Round Table. The Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah, our Knights of the Round Table. Cap, what about Mike Lindell? He turned it around.
Who's Mike Lindell?
I don't know.
Oh, God damn it. Now I got to look up who's Mike Lindell. This is the good and the bad of not paying attention to politics.
But then there's a comment right after that says, hey, the super chats are down, from Nick Schulander. What do we do? Call in the Mexican super chat monkey. So I don't know.
The Mexican super chat monkey. Okay. Mike Lindell. He's guy of My Pillow. Early life and career. Born in Mankato, Minnesota. Well, do you know what's turn it around? What do you know about him?
He turned it around. I mean, I don't know. Was he a homeless guy or something?
No, I don't know. Mike Lindell was born in Mankato.
He's not a leftist anymore. If he was a leftist.
Well, no, he sounds like a lifelong entrepreneur. Prior to inventing My Pillow, Lindell launched and operated a number of small businesses, including carpet cleaning, lunch wagons, and a few bars and restaurants in Carver County, Minnesota. Lindell then invented the My Pillow in 2004 and grew the My Pillow business to a major Minnesota manufacturing company with 1,600 employees and 43 million pillows sold. That's a lot of pillows.
His pillows work. If you don't have one, you should get one. They're really good.
Oh, here it is. Okay, here's where he turned it around. Okay, in 1982, Lindell became addicted to cocaine and alcohol. Became addicted to crack cocaine in the 1990s. His addictions even stretched through the early years of the My Pillow business. Due to these addictions, he lost his marriage of 20 years, his house, and nearly the My Pillow business. Lindell achieved sobriety in 2009. All right, well, good for him.
Yeah,
that's awesome. In March 2017, Lindell produced The Mike Lindell Story, An American Dream, a documentary about Lindell overcoming drug addiction and building multi-million-dollar business. The documentary was shot in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at the Pantages Theater. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear somebody come from success, loss, and then success again.
Right.
Okay.
He wears his cross very interestingly, where he puts his necklace on top of his shirt.
What, his rosary?
It's a cross, a gold cross. If you watch the commercials, it's always like, he's wearing putting his necklace so you can see it outside of his collar.
Let's do some sponsors here. Then I want to get to another article that I think you'll like. Actually, there's a couple articles we can help out the kids, but that's assuming you got time. You got to get going and be a father here, or what?
I do, but keep going. Yeah.
All right. We got themensadvocate.net. Go to themensadvocate.net. If you happen to be a divorced man and you're looking for someone, frankly, to advocate you, don't do this alone. Go there. There's plenty of websites, of course. There's Terrence Pop's site over at YouTube and Rich Cooper's site. But the newest one, put about by a friend of mine, go to themensadvocate.net. Check that out. Orion's Cold Fire, go to orionscoldfire.com if you want a daily dose of news, conservative libertarian editorial commentary. But I go to that website for the photography. He does photography on the side, and it's very good. And you know what I like most about his pictures?
They're of nature, let's say.
Well, they are of nature, but I can usually figure out exactly where he is because he goes to national parks, and I'm usually like, I know the exact spot on the road you're at. Not all of them, but I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there. Academiccomposition.com. If you guys have papers you don't want to write, go to academiccomposition.com, where our good friend Alex and his crack team of writing staff, not crackpot, crack team.
Not like Mike Lindell crack team.
No, not like that, but actual just a good team of writing staff will write your papers for you. Also, he's always hiring. So if you are looking for a job and you want to work from home and you're good at writing bullshit, there's a huge demand for people who can write bullshit, not only in media, but in academia as well. Go to academiccomposition.com. Email them. It'll go right to Alex and tell Alex that the captain sent you. And he's also looking for marketers and advertisers always. So whether you want to use the service or you want to work for the company, go ahead, take a look. That's academiccomposition.com. Tell them Cappy sent you.
That's actually a great life skill. That's a great life skill to learn how to write bullshit. I mean, you can make it pretty far just writing bullshit.
Oh yeah. I mean, you guys don't know this about me, but I'm a rank communist. I've just been writing this Marxist bullshit or this capitalist bullshit because it's so easy to sell. It's just so easy to sell people on responsibility and hard work and excellence. It's just so easy. You know how hard it is to write communist, leftist, socialist, feminist slop that you're just amazing and wonderful and brave and courageous because you have a vagina? Do you know how hard that is to sell to half the population?
It's so difficult. I mean, there's no money in it at all.
It's almost as hard as telling people nothing's their fault and they're entitled to other people's shit.
I mean, they just reject that. There's no way that would ever sell.
You know, the only thing harder than that is trying to tell and convince women that big is beautiful and plus size lingerie is a thing.
That's impossible. I mean, they're just lining up for the hard workouts and the dieting and the proper grooming.
Yeah, I gotta practically pull that damn broccoli out of their mouth. Like, no, eat some fucking ice cream, you skinny, attractive, in shape whore. You know what's sad is it just, it started with Target and their plus size models. And now it's starting to creep into where the GF goes shopping for a lingerie. And because she'll want to, it's kind of like a fun thing. You're like, hey, you want to go look? I'm like, yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what we got. And then we'll go to different sites that we like. And like, and then sure enough, there's this fat land whale with some see-through tissue paper covering her just disgusting body. And it's just like, whoa. It's like, who dresses that shit up? Who would dress an ugly, attractive person up? Like, why? Why are you even bothering?
I wonder when that changed, though. Way back in the past. I mean, when you look at the fertility goddess sculptures and stuff,
I never believed that. And those were Rubenesque. Those had curves.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were way back then and you wanted a strong kid, maybe you would fuck a fat chick.
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm gonna go. I saw somewhere also where they were saying, well, if you look at some Egyptian hieroglyphics or not hieroglyphics, Egyptian art, there's other evidence that if you believe that they made statues or art of what were attractive women back then, there's plenty of counterexamples where the women weren't obese, they weren't curvy. But I'll tell you this. No woman that looked like a bowling ball has ever had a statue made out of her in the past because a sphere is not a sexy curve.
True.
It's just one curve that goes forever. But yeah, it's just kind of like, it's a fart in church. It's a belch in the opera. It's a fat chick on the lingerie page. Get the fuck out of here.
The future aliens will see bowling pins and bowling balls and go, they really liked fat spherical.
They really likes fat women. And they like redneck white people. That's what it was. There it is. There it is. Redneck white people because the bowling pin and the bowling ball. Yeah, the choker collar. And they like round, rotund black women, I guess. That's something. So pushingrubberdownhill.com. Our good friend Adam Piggott, check out his site. And then also he has his book, Pushing Rubber Downhill. Have you ever read that?
No.
Okay, it's a good book. It's really good. It's a
Pushing Rubber Downhill.
Yeah, you've never heard me talk about his book?
I've heard you talk about the book, but I'm trying to get the analogy, the metaphor.
It's a whitewater rafting term. Okay. You're pushing the rubber down the rapids.
Okay.
The rubber craft, at least that's what I think it is. But it's a really good book.
I just get the image of, when people push people down the hill in a tire and they put the guy in the tire.
Oh yeah.
That's sort of the image
they
that
get
I
out and they're all dizzy as fuck.
Right,
and they're, oh yeah, those are good times. Those are real good times. That's they don't even do that anymore. They're all on their fucking phones. Where do you find a spare tire? Where do you find a spare tire now in the neighborhood?
One. It's got to be a big one.
Yeah, it's got to be a good size one. Yep. And then we also have I'm sorry. So check out Adam's site, pushingrubberdownhill.com. You can get his book. He has multiple books, but then he also has his podcast, which is a must and a tune in and listen to. And he also co-hosts with the great one himself on the Greasy Pole podcast, which is one of my favorite podcasts to tune into. There's the quintessentialist.blogspot.com. Check out that blog. He also has a new book out called To Papa to Patsy. It's new, and I pulled it up here. Where is it? There it is. To Papa to Patsy, a collection of letters between Thomas Jefferson and his daughter, Martha, Kindle edition. Well, it's $0 with Kindle Unlimited.
For real?
What do you mean for real? Letters? Well, okay, it says author of the Declaration of Independence Statement, Minister to France, President, and Father. You know Thomas Jefferson as the politician, but you may not know him as the father and a man. This collection of letters is between the back and forth of Thomas Jefferson and his daughter, Martha, Patsy Jefferson Randolph. The collection covers 4 different time periods in Thomas Jefferson's life: before the Constitution, during his time as Secretary of State, during his time as Vice President, and during his first term as President. Through the collection, though the collection is incomplete, it does contain over 100 letters. Get to know one of the most important historical figures in all of American history through his own words. In this collection, discover the man behind life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Actually sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, is he the first guy to think to put this together?
I don't know. I know.
That's I'll tell you. Idea.
I tell you what he is the first person to do.
Huh.
He's the first person to pay me to tell you guys.
Right.
And if you would like to be the first person to pay me to advertise your wares, you can always go and run ads over on my online media empire site, and I'll be a whore for you. Because guess what, DT? In economics, in terms of labor economics, guess what we all are?
We're all prostitutes.
We're all whores. All whores.
We're people
all of you.
People of the night.
You're all whores. It doesn't matter. I truly do not differentiate between somebody who works at McDonald's and a lady who's walking the street. I really don't. Because you got to pay for everything anyway. All of it, you got to pay. All of it. All of it. Everybody pays for it. You always pay.
Somebody just said in the chat that all of the letters are in the Library of Congress, but not organized specifically. What a great idea to put that together. TJ, as I call him, TJ, Tommy Jefferson.
Oh, Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, he's one of my heroes. And it would be really interesting to see his kind of how because his children were very important to him.
And some of them were black too. See, so you're a racist. No wonder you liked it because he had slaves and raped black women. That's why you like him, TJ.
That could be fake news, Cap. That could be one of the first examples of fake news.
Don't care. I don't care.
But I mean, what a great idea for yeah. I mean, he's got a great mind, and founder of America. But how did he kind of interact with his daughter,
with his family? Yeah, no, that would be cool. Did you ever pay much attention to the founding fathers or like the Federalist Papers or anything like that?
I have done some research back when I was dabbling with deism. I kind of looked into the founding fathers and their deistic beliefs, and I do like. I've read a few books kind of about them. Washington and Jefferson and Ben Franklin, and then I also love Thomas Paine. Just he's the forgotten founding father, really. Tommy Paine.
I know nothing about him.
Oh, you don't know anything? Oh,
nope,
I mean, you should read.
Well, I mean, I know what they forced me to read in school. Yeah,
you probably have not read Age of Reason. Age of Reason is great. Thomas Paine was locked up in a prison in France because he thought he wanted to support the French Revolution, and of course it went sideways on him, and he was in jail thinking he was going to die, and he basically unleashed on Christianity in Age of Reason.
Really?
And it's great, yeah. And that's actually what made George Washington sort of turned his back on Thomas Paine, who wrote Common Sense. He's one of the main reasons that fired people up to fight the British was Thomas Paine's Common Sense. And so George Washington kind of turned his back on him and didn't try to get him out of France. And Thomas Paine, one of my heroes, had nobody at his funeral. So that's sort of my goal.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's a ballsy guy. That's
very much so.
Yeah, that's not bad. So, any more super chats? Otherwise, I got two little news items here.
Let's do the news items. There are no more super chats.
You cheap fucking bastards.
Yeah, what the? At least hit the like button. Fuck.
Yeah, hit the like button and do that.
I hit it. I like myself.
What is one of your favorite sports there, DT?
I used to love football, but I'm starting to like baseball a lot more. So.
No. What sports do you play, not watch?
Oh, play. I used to play football and baseball.
Okay, you played football and baseball. All right.
Yeah.
All right. But you haven't started picking them up again.
No.
All right.
Much too old. Yeah.
What is something you're not too old for?
I'm gonna guess it starts with G.
It starts with G. Yes. And ends with golf.
With Ulf.
From Wall Street Journal. I haven't read it, but I skimmed it, so it seems pretty funny. Oh, these sons of bitches! Now they want me to subscribe to the full story.
Oh no, it disappeared on you. Do you need me to look it up?
No. Do you have a Wall Street Journal subscription?
No, but it tracks your number of views for free.
I'm gonna that sons of. Yeah, look up Wall Street Journal. Not Wall Street Journal. Look, golf homeowners find themselves a hole.
Golf homeowners. I'll see if that comes up.
Usually you can find another website that has it for free.
Okay, golf homeowners find themselves a hole. Oh, there is one on if you type that in, There's a blog called Jeff Shackelford. Maybe that's the original.
Okay, all right.
The original writer.
Let's go. While PGA Tour Commissioner sees golf as growing and thriving, the Wall Street Journal Candace Taylor details growing. Darn it! As younger generations deny growing and thriving.
I could try looking.
See if you get the full article on Wall Street Journal, because this is only
I'll give it a shot.
A hack job.
Golf homeowners find themselves in a hole. Lawsuits pile up and fairways fall into disrepair as younger Americans shun golf, leaving behind homeowners who paid a premium for life on the links. And I just had to close that out, their little thing, by Candace Taylor. How much do you want me to read?
We'll just read it. We'll go through it.
Okay. When Mitch Steller first moved into his house on a lush 117-acre golf course in Southern California, quote, "This was like the Garden of Eden, having a golf course in my backyard," he said. Today, his Poway, California home overlooks dry, dead grass in place of a once verdant fairway. That's a nice word, verdant. The golf club closed in 2017. Quote, "The fairways are brown, the greens are gone, the buildings are being vandalized," says Mr. Steller, a 70-year-old maritime management consultant.
That's
40
it?
years 40 years after developers started blanketing the Sun Belt with housing developments built around golf, many courses are closing amid a decline in golf participation, leaving homeowners to grapple with the consequences. People often believe a course will bolster their property values, but many are discovering the opposite can now be true, and legal disputes are erupting as communities fight over how to handle the struggling courses. This is this is just like, this is
actual
boomers,
journalism.
and this is boomers kind of reaping it, you know?
There's a reason I want to read this, because there's a couple angles here that I'm smiling at and thankful it's not me.
There are hundreds of other communities in this situation, and they're trapped and they don't know what to do, says Peter Nanula, chief executive at Concert Golf Partners, a golf club owner-operator that owns about 20 private clubs across the U.S. One of his current projects is the rehabilitation of a recently acquired club in Florida that had shut one of its 3 golf courses and sued residents who had stopped paying membership fees. So if the golf course is going into disrepair, the residents still need to pay the membership fee.
Well, see, that's what it's mismanagement on the golf part. I want to know who the fuck came up with the idea. Like, okay, I could see if you want, like, hey, here's this golf thing, and this retirement community, and we're going to estimate retirement. But was your exit strategy that the millennials were going to buy this?
Right.
Why is it the millennial? What about Gen X? Wouldn't you expect, some relatively well-to-do guy like me who's got time to go golf to be interested? It's like, nope, our plan is to bank on the most indebted generation ever, the millennials.
Right.
To buy us out of our Phoenix, Arizona golf course side home. I don't get what.
I mean, when you can play Tiger Woods golf on the Xbox or go out and learn golf, what are you going to do as a millennial?
Yeah. Well,
right?
And you can also have any woman as your wife as long as you use your left hand.
Right.
The millennials got it all. Not only are they playing Tiger Woods' favorite courses, they're banging his wife too on the internet.
Exactly. See, more than 200 golf closes closed in 2017 across the country, while only about 15 new ones opened. Mm-hmm. So 215 spread on closing versus opening, according to the National Golf Foundation, a golf market research provider. Mm-hmm. Florida-based development consultant Blake Plumley says he gets about 7 phone calls every week seeking advice about struggling courses from course owners or homeowners associations. He said most of those matters end up in court, and predicted that the U.S. is only about halfway through the number of golf course closures. That's hard to say. Golf course closures that will eventually occur. So this is like the new timeshare thing, right? Like people are trying to get out of timeshares. That was the big thing.
What it is these are basically they're huge homeowner associations, because you got to pay for the golf course.
Yep. And to have a golf course in your backyard, basically.
Right. And so what it tells me is, one, these baby boomers aren't paying
Right.
their homeowner association fees. Two, you think about it, this is like buying a boat. What's cheaper, DT, buying a boat or renting a boat for the hour or two you might use it per 3 years?
Well, that's obvious.
Right. So, I mean, you have got to have insane sums of money to do this right. You have to have insane sums of money, and you must really like golf, because if
Right.
you live on the golf course, you're going to have to pay for the maintenance of that golf course 24/7. Like, you can only golf on it maybe once a day.
And
But
these are
then
probably private courses too. I bet you it would be interesting to see. I don't know if they talk about it in here, but public courses, I'm sure, are doing just fine. And so the homes that are on public courses are probably doing just fine. But it's these private clubs where you have to buy in. You have to be rich to be a part of them.
Mhm.
They're not open to the public. So you're basically eliminating a huge part of the market that would bring money into your golf course.
Right.
I wonder how many of them are, because I mean, if you're talking about association dues and all that kind of stuff, that probably has to do with private clubs.
What I'm betting is happening, and where the millennials come into it. Now I've kind of figured it out. How much you want to bet? They said, okay, we're gonna have this golf course development, and we're gonna have houses on the golf course. Okay, guys, and you can buy, and for this HOA fee, you can golf anytime you want. But here's the deal: we're gonna open it up to the public so we can subsidize. We can make money off of the public and subsidize your HOA fee. So I bet you what happened is, when they ran the figures, they assumed people would be golfing at the Gen X level, and we were all about Tiger Woods, and everyone's golf. And then Gen X had kids, and that went away. And so they're kind of maybe hoping that the millennials would kick in. Well, the millennials ain't got no money. No. And so they're not coming in and golfing as much, because I'll tell you this, when I've gone golfing, guess who by far is the youngest person on all the golf courses I've gone on?
You.
Me. Not kidding. Like, noticeably.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this would also explain where I was at one. There's a fancy neighborhood called Summerlin. It's way on the other side of town. But they have a bunch of golf courses I want to try out. And then I looked at the prices. I'm like, whoa. And then I find one that looks real nice, like painted desert or something desert. And it's like, on this community, and it's private, and there's a gate, but they'll let you in if you're going to golf. And so I'm like, well, I'm driving these houses. I was like, got my cheap ass truck, and I'm thinking like, oh, I don't fit in here. And I pull up, guess what color the greens were?
Brown.
And I'm like, how is this happening? Like, you guys, this is the richest thing I've ever seen. And you can't water. What's going on? And I bet you that's what it is. I bet you they locked in their HOA fees. They're not getting enough young golfers to come in. And this also explains why pretty much I can go golfing anytime, as long as it's not the weekend.
Right.
Like, you could just, in Vegas, pretty much anywhere, you could choose any tee time and go. And you'll get your own cart, and nobody else is golfing with you. You got one cart all to yourself. You're not even thrown into two-sums or three-sums or four-sums. You're just there by yourself.
So here's some more info. But golf's popularity has declined in recent years, as younger generations haven't taken to the game with the same level of enthusiasm as their predecessors. Golf participation peaked in 2001. Isn't that right around when Tiger was playing?
Tiger was really dominating. Strong. Yeah. He was fresh out of college, and he was just kicking ass.
Yeah, when nearly 30 million people played more than 500 million rounds. In 2017, that figure dropped to nearly 24 million people playing about 450 million rounds. So less people are playing a little bit more golf, looks like, according to the National Golf Foundation.
That's not a drastic drop, though. That's only
for 50 million rounds.
Yeah,
really, it doesn't matter how many people are doing it, it's the rounds, right?
It's the rounds, right.
Yeah. In 2005, there were more than 16,000 golf courses in the U.S. In 2017, there were fewer than 15,000.
All right.
So, but they said in the early 2000s, as golf communities started feeling the strain, many clubs began requiring all of their home buyers to become members. Designed as a way to guarantee more cash flow for clubs, so-called mandatory membership can end up harming home values by narrowing the pool of potential buyers. What we are consistently seeing is that those properties, all else being equal, are selling way below what they should be selling for. said this guy, a real estate economist.
It's effectively having a property tax. It's like buying a place in Minneapolis. They're like, oh, this is a great house. Look at all this land. And then you look at what the property taxes are. Like, screw that. Fuck you. Yeah.
And playing the same course all the time.
Oh,
I mean,
God. Like being married to the same woman. I'm kidding, Mrs. DT. I'm kidding. Mrs. DT is listening. I'm kidding.
Don't compare Mrs. DT to golf.
That would
be, she hates golf. So
I would never do that to Mrs. DT. Yeah, I can see what's
clubs and balls and holes and drives. And
why does she hate it so much? What does she?
I'm
not
just
good
saying
at
all
it,
the
or what?
terms. All the terms could be clubs and balls and holes, and
Carts?
drives. I know chips. You can't really chip
Greens.
No.
I plowed the.
But
greens.
they say all that the rough is shaggy. You know,
Rough is shaggy.
Stuff like
fast greens, slow greens.
Fast greens.
Hard to read the greens.
The fairway. The fairway.
Unless there's some interesting dyeing going on. Yeah, that's not really too. All right. Was that the end of the article?
Yeah, it's pretty much what, as you suspected, young people aren't playing.
Okay. So young people who are part of the older brother cavalcade here, don't buy things that are super expensive. Rent them. Right. You should rent boats. I'm going to rent a plane. Did I tell you I'm renting a plane?
Yes. I mean, you rent planes all the time.
I rent planes all the time. A little puny 2 foot by 1 foot space. I rent that part of the plane many times back and forth to Las Vegas and Minneapolis. I rent that, but I like to think it's my plane at that point in time.
And if you want a good view in your backyard, make sure it's something that doesn't need to be maintained every day. I mean, right?
Well, that's why the desert's kind of cool.
A mountain doesn't need, you don't need to go mow it or whatever. Nope. I mean, if you got a nice view, that's always going to be a good view. And so your property values will be just fine. Right?
I tried offering Ava Mendez $5 a day to just stand in the backyard wearing lingerie for, but she hasn't gotten back to me yet. Think about offering $6, but no more than $7. I will not spend more than $7 a day. Then I'll have to go with Jennifer Aniston.
These golf courses are going to have to hire really hot golf cart girls. That's what's going to happen. That's the only way. They're going to have to somehow do that.
I don't even know if that's going to get the old timers out. I really don't know.
No, I'm at the young people. Maybe the young people would.
Maybe, but
if they can figure out some way to do that.
Do millennial boys have sex? Do they even know what their penis is for besides peeing? I don't
think they'd care, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got the porn. They're sleeping with Tiger Woods' wife from 10 years ago. Not what she is today, from 10 years ago.
Right.
All right. This
was the other article that you liked.
Ladies, I like to hike, right? I like to climb mountains.
Yep.
Right. You tell me what are do and do nots in this article. All right.
Which article?
This article I'm about to read.
Okay.
You tell me what is wrong here. What young women, our little sisters in the older brother podcast, what we don't want our younger sisters doing here. Okay. You see if you can spot the mistakes that this woman did. Okay.
Okay.
Gigi Wu, bikini hiker, dies on solo Taiwan climb despite search efforts. All right, you following me so far?
So it's climbing in a bikini in Taiwan. Her
name is Gigi Wu. She is a bikini hiker, and she has passed away doing a solo climb, and they can't find her body.
All right.
Gigi Wu managed to contact emergency services, but bad weather delayed rescue operations, local media reports say. The 36-year-old is thought to have died of hypothermia. She was
what's bad weather for a bikini hiker? Is it like weather in the 50s maybe or something?
You know how you got that? 30-something women got a little bit of a sexier edge over 20-something women, which right now has every virgin towel and player throwing up. But hear me out here. And the reason a 30-something woman has this sexier edge is because you're hoping, and there's a better chance that she's not a complete moronic ditz. Like, the hot 24-year-old is going to be excruciatingly painful that you have to go to the CVS, buy some aspirin to go on a date with her, or just talk to her. But with a hot 31, 32-year-old, like, hey, she's got some worldly experience and maybe isn't going to be a moron.
And it takes effort to look good in your 30s, where in
It
your
takes
20s,
effort.
maybe it doesn't so much.
Right. So this gal's 36, and you're kind of hoping, hey, hiker, bikini, 30. Oh, no, I guess not. The 36-year-old is thought to have died of hypothermia. She was a popular figure on social media, and messages on her Facebook pages paid tribute to her as an inspirational hiker. You know who the hiker I want to inspire me?
Somebody who summits Everest or something,
No,
right?
Even more important than that.
Somebody who survives the hike.
Someone who doesn't die. Like, I don't want to look at a golfer. It's like, he died on the golf course swinging too hard. Like, that does not inspire me. That's
right.
He died on the racetrack. That does not inspire me. Dying on a hike does not inspire me. Miss Wu.
Atham's saying something here.
Oh, he's always saying something. He likes the Taiwanese girls.
He knows what's going on in this article.
Oh, okay. Miss Wu was alone on a multi-day tour in Yushan National Park, home to Taiwan's highest peaks, which reach around 4,000 meters, which is 13,000 feet, the reports say. All right, Mr. Engineering STEM man, what happens the higher up you go with mountains or anything? What happens the higher up you go?
There's less oxygen.
All right, and then what all related to less oxygen, what also happens?
Related to it. Well, I mean, you have trouble. I mean, you have
trouble. I'll give you a hint. So there's Death Valley, right?
Yep.
And then about 300 miles away, there's Mount Shasta, which is 15,000 feet.
Yes.
So what is the other difference aside from altitude and oxygen? What is the other common difference you will see between those two locations?
Air pressure.
Jesus fucking Christ. How?
Moisture,
yes, air pressure. I guess
wind.
And there's less air up there, right? There's less mass.
Yes.
Okay, so what is that going to directly affect? Atham's probably just dying right now.
Well, I mean, what's it going to directly affect? Less mass up there?
There's less dense air up there. Therefore, it's going to directly affect what? The little molecules of air are hitting on our bodies right now, right, DT?
Yes, yeah.
And if there's more, there's pressure. So what did the air molecules do?
They thin out, yeah.
There's more pressure, they thin out?
Less pressure, they thin out.
Yeah, I'm talking more pressure. So when there's more pressure, they get denser. And what happens to the air molecules bouncing against our body?
I don't know. You're going to have to. I'm not following you.
They bounce faster because it causes heat. And when you go up in altitude, what happens to the temperature?
Oh, yeah, it drops. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you couldn't guess it. You were like,
that's why mountains have snow on them. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that white stuff up there. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, at 13,000 feet, it might be a little bit chilly. Now, for our younger, littler sisters in the Older Brother podcast, just so you know, wearing a bikini might be cute and fanciful, but if you're going to go up to 13,000 feet, that's not too good. That's bad. You're going to, like they speculated, she died of hypothermia.
Yes. See, Atham's got me all screwed up. He's told me the secret to this story.
Okay. While she was famous for posting pictures of herself in bikinis from summits, she was an experienced hiker, appearing to use proper equipment and precautions during her expeditions. According to Taiwan News, bad weather had prevented the rescue helicopter from reaching her 3 times. A rescue mission was eventually sent out on foot. Her body was found Monday after temperatures had been around freezing point during the previous night, the Liberty Times cited rescue operations as saying. On the 24th of December, she had already posted a picture of her legs badly bruised, writing in the comment that she slipped from the path and easily could have fallen further. Her last Facebook post to her more than 18,000 followers is dated January 18th. It shows a view from a mountain above the clouds. More than 1,000 people have since commented. Many posts were following the dramatic rescue operation. Later things, ba-da-ba, booty-boo, booty-booty-bee. So
the only reason we know about this chick is because she would occasionally be in a bikini on these peaks. Otherwise, this happens to hikers all the time, right?
DT, if I had a nice set of tits and I was a woman, I would be a millionaire right now.
Right.
I would have hundreds of thousands of followers. I'd be like Laura Southern or Brittany Pettibone, except original, smart, and intelligent, and coming up with my own shit to say.
Right.
And I would have millions of followers and multiple millions of dollars. And I'm sad that this woman tragically lost it. But yeah, you don't go hiking in bad weather. If you're going to go solo, you usually should, especially for a 4-day trip, you should bring a satellite phone with you. And then usually you don't go up that level and hike in bikinis.
Yeah,
that's not what she did.
Solo part is the big problem, right? I mean, you don't want to. You trip and fall once, and you could be dead. I mean, even just on a trail, that could happen. And forget about mountains.
Yeah, and I won't lie. When I was younger and dumber, there were instances where I'm like, oh shit. There was basically the Badlands Formation in South Dakota.
Yes. Yep.
So how that erodes is in part wind, but mostly water. So water will erode at this very gravel-like consistency of cliff and wash it away. And that's how you get these very unique formations. But a lot of times what will happen is the water will land on the cliff, go underneath the cliff, and shoot out at the bottom, eating away a big cavern while it looks like it's solid on top. And so there were a couple times where I'd be hiking out in the middle of nowhere and realized that there was a cavern right next to me, and that if I had stepped 2 feet in the other direction, I would have been, and no one would have found me. No one.
Exactly.
But that was in my young, dumb early 30s. Now you sign in the backcountry, and if I'm going to go for a 4-day hike, you satellite phone or something else.
Right. So at what Atham said when you started talking about this, like immediately.
Yes, how much he likes Asian girls.
Besides that, he said she hiked to the top of the mountains, changed to bikini, took a pic, changed to full gear, and then hiked back down. So he knows a lot about this chick. He might be a
he follows her. How much you want to bet? He probably donated more money to her super chat. So I'm on top of the mountain. Hi guys. Ching 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 ching.
You want to go spelunking with me, babe?
Oh God, could you see poor Atham? Like, if I wonder, hang on, let's look this up. Let's look it up. I wonder if female spelunker.
He said she actually was in full gear when she fell 60 feet down a ravine. Oof. Her mistake was hiking alone.
Hang on.
So he knows all about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And everybody's yelling at me for not understanding the temperature.
Hey, U of M graduate, engineering school, right there, guys. Send your kids there. They won't know how pressure and temperature work. A female caver. Meet the women of
hot mountains. The only hot mountains are the ones that are exploding with lava.
Right. I'm trying to see if there's a hot female cave explorer, and all I'm getting is just dumbass pictures of thoughts that I don't really care about. So, hang on. All right. So that's it there. Any other super chats left?
No, nobody's. Yeah. What's going on, guys?
They all come in and then they speak their piece and they go.
Is there anything is there anything you want us to wrap up with? Anything you want us to talk about real quick?
Well, I always thought that the super chats would kind of be, and maybe it's Elkins that triggers this, but I always thought the super chats would be kind of like this. Well, you have a question for Asshole Consulting, but it's not that big, and it's not going to be worth spending $30. You're not going to spend $30 or $40 on it. So you got like a quick question. And so I always thought that would be kind of like this, I want to say lower end market, but cheaper market for quick Asshole Consulting questions or general questions. And that actually happens a lot with Chad, because you get a lot of people asking tax questions and things like that. But,
and he likes to talk about dating chicks and stuff like that too, I've noticed. And maybe that's
because he's single.
Yeah. And so he's got a lot of kind of pointers and ideas for that. Where I'm this, lame married guy. So,
hey, all the married fellas out there, you need pointers? Contact DT. Contact him now. $5. He'll give you marriage advice.
Yeah, no way. No way am I giving anybody marriage advice.
You know the best marriage advice?
Oh, don't even say it.
I'm going to give you the best. Choose wisely. That's the best.
I thought you were going to say don't.
Well, yeah.
Which basically,
yeah. Yeah, and if you choose wisely, sometimes the best choice is to not to.
Yes.
Because not to I find it fascinating, just fascinating, watching what's happening on that battlefield. You know, you look at Chad, you look at some of my clients, and I get emails and the younger guys, and it's just like, my God, what, you know, you thought World War I and trench warfare was bad. This is just, it's kind of, and then I happily go golf, and then I don't.
Right. Well, Mrs. DT and I have had conversations about it, and it's like, yeah, I mean, why would you ever sign on the dotted line for a contract where you don't know the fine print? You know, that's what a marriage license is. And we've talked about it with each other. You know, you're dumb and stupid and young when you get married. And as you mature, it's like, man, that was just a total leap of faith. There's no protections there, hardly at all, for the male anyway, for the man.
No.
And we've often, you know, talked about it and kind of told each other, yeah, if we did it over, we'd probably do a private contract. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
So
no, I've the government has no fucking business between two people. None. And what I don't understand is why people just don't get married at the church or whatever religious or whatever entity you want to get married and say, we're married. No, the government doesn't get a fucking license or a say in us. And we're outside of the government control. But the government even does things like common law marriage. Like, oh, yeah, well, you're married now. I mean, it's like, fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. It's none of your goddamn business.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It might have used to have been, you know, I mean, when you're trying to make sure that, you know, an out of wedlock, an out of wedlock birth was a huge deal. And, you know, that's how our societies were structured, was to basically make sure that that they function with reproduction. That's basically the whole reason for society and all of our laws and everything, is to make sure that that's done responsibly and doesn't fuck everything up. And now that's almost an afterthought.
Well, it's obsolete. We have a new superior system where the government takes care of everything, and women could just have kids out of wedlock with multiple guys. So I think there's no real need. It's so, you know, you never really thought about marriage because, you know, if you were me, you're just like, survival, food. Oh, I like to have sex. And what? Marriage? Get the fuck out of here. I don't have time for this fucking, and fuck you and your goddamn kid. What do you mean kids? Kids? What do you mean? What do you mean kids? I'm happy. I found $20 on the floor the other day. That made my month. What the hell? And so, but then as you get older, like you're saying, when you're younger, it was a leap of faith, but you didn't even know what a leap of faith it was.
No, you didn't.
But when you get older and you start understanding how humanity works, society works, and then you start seeing how people behave as they get older, you're like, oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no.
Well, it's just like,
no.
Man, I mean, it's always work. I mean, you grow together and you change, and it's not simple at all, but man, it could be a lot worse if you choose poorly. If you choose poorly, it ruins your life. And that's all pretty much a crapshoot. When you're young, you don't really know what somebody really is, who they really are. You don't know. But you know, I mean, if you want kids, I mean, right now that's the only way. And so you gotta try the best you can to find that mom that's worth it. So,
no, I hate
if you want kids, that's
you better desperately really want some kids.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah. No, you're lucky, man. You got the STEM CPA or computer programmer. What the heck? I mean, she's like a dual STEM chick, right?
Well, I mean, sort of, yeah. But yeah, she took she definitely took.
You make it sound like she's Wonder Bread in the discount aisle. It's like, dude, you got this Ferrari here.
It's not necessarily STEM. That's I guess what I was saying. It's
okay.
Yeah.
She isn't begging and pleading for grant money.
No.
Bullshitting herself, thinking her fucking part-time social work job is a real job and she's a professional. She actually is a real professional, makes damn good money, and contributes to society.
No, and she chose her major a lot better than my engineering major. So that, I mean, there are some engineering majors that aren't as good as, like being a CPA or. That's basically she majored in accounting basically, which is kind of math, I guess.
It's legit. It's legit.
It's not like higher order. I mean, she didn't have to take differential equations or anything.
No,
It's
but
kind of
it's
lower
hard
order math,
work.
but it's hard. It's hard.
I think because she's so rare, she should write a book. It'd be an immediate bestseller called How Not to Be an Insufferable Feminist Leftist Bitch by Mrs. DT. And I think that would sell 0 copies because what women want to hear is how to be a strong, empowered, insufferable leftist feminist bitch.
Right.
I think that's what they want to hear. And so that'll be the title of my next book. All right. No more super chats?
We got one more here.
All right. What do we got?
From Chintz. CHINTZ.
Chintz. Yeah, that sounds about
Canadian,
right.
$5, I think.
Oh, the loon.
He said, thoughts on polygamy.
What is polygamy? Is that a
multiple women?
Yeah. Multiple women? It's fun when you're dating, but I can't imagine being married to multiple women.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you were in a truly patriarchal society, maybe that's how the Mormons do it. Like, no, you're all shutting up and doing what I say. I mean, it's difficult enough arguing with one woman.
Right.
With 6, there'd be 5 corpses, and I'd be looking at the 6th one saying, "Hey, see what happened to what are Mormon names? Jessica, Ruth, Nebuchadnezzareth, Jebediah. Like, you see what happened to them?
That's probably a good one, yeah.
No, Jebediah is the guy's name. No, not diarrhea. Never mind.
That was a good one. Jebediah was great. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, I mean, it's like you said, it's enough work for one. And I think it was mainly economic back then.
Well, especially if a bunch of boys went to war and you're always dying and there weren't so many men to go around, you need like a patriarch to kind of have multiple kids. I could kind of see the survivalistic reason for it.
Yeah, or safety in numbers type of thing. And just, it was much more difficult to just survive and live back then. So if you had a quote tribe under one man and with a bunch of sons and daughters and everything running around and varying ages, then it's just you're a stronger family unit that's able to survive. If you want kids really, really bad, like if you want lots of them, then polygamy is the way to go.
Or you just knock up chicks and leave, like welfare people do.
But to have it, I mean, could you imagine having like 20 kids in a family setting?
No.
It would be kind of cool, but for like in fantasy land, cool.
No, I'll tell you this: it may have had its place
against each other.
It may have had its place in the past. Now it only serves to be a ward on the state and be a parasite. But think about this: if you married, like, say, 3 or 4 gals. Dude, do you know how much student loans you'd have to pay off? That's like almost $1 million in student loans for worthless. And then they're all going to want to get their master's degree. And then they're going to work the part-time job. And then they're not going to be satisfied. And they're all going to account for how much time you spent with Amy versus Jessica versus her. Well, you got her sapphires and I like emeralds, but you gave her emeralds and I wanted the sapphire. Oh, fuck. Put a bullet in my head right now.
I mean, could you imagine spinning plates with legal requirements? I mean, that's what it would be, right? I mean, it would be that.
It was fun banging a bunch of gals when I was single. But to be in a committed matrimonial? No way.
Where there's obligations and responsibilities and you have to, and you're married, they're there.
Yeah.
And so, the drama,
nagging.
I can't imagine the drama. Can you imagine the drama?
Oh, shit. God. Jeez.
I mean,
I'd be in jail. It's not
possible today. Without environmental stresses and like, if that woman isn't in your family, she's basically starving to death or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wouldn't work. I don't think it would. And that the only way it works is with these crazy religious people where it's their religion, and that's the reason why.
And the women are taught to be much different than who was it? Someone said, imagine if instead of training women to compete with men, you train them to support men. And that is the key difference right there. If I'm going to assume that in somewhat functional polygamous societies, the women have really got to be supporting the guy. And there's none of this. When you need to it's just like,
Well, there wouldn't be any of that, right?
Well, the women would be doing the dishes. That's
right.
what all right, guess there's a dish rag. You better get to those dirty dishes now, shouldn't you?
Right. But you'd have to like be a manager. It'd be like being a manager.
Oh God.
You'd have to,
No.
oh, okay. And then you'd have performance reviews, right? Well, it's this person's complaining about how much your work you're doing. You need to, up your game a little bit and don't treat Bobby, her son, so poorly. And it would just be, it would be.
Could you imagine the worst? Like, say you had 4 women in your polygamy marriage situation there, but the worst ones would be like one's an HR director, the other's a women's studies professor, the fourth would be a politician. What would the third would be a politician? What would the fourth be?
You got school teacher.
Oh yes, a teacher.
A teacher.
Oh my God, kill me now. I mean, no one would. Go ahead.
The sex can't be good enough, really, for that to ever work.
No.
Because guess what, guys? The sex drive eventually does go away.
It does go away.
It goes away, and they're still there.
Right? Well, it goes away in part because they don't stay in shape, and then they don't, they don't change it up a bit. And let's not deny it. It's the same person. Guys are designed to like spread your seed far and wide. And the true sign of love is that the guy does it. The guy gives that up. But yeah, it's kind of sad, but you could just see, I kind of saw it in some older guys in my family and just older guys I watched. I'm like, oh, that's why they gave up. Yeah, I could see. All right. Now
it's a combination. There is it physically does lessen too. I mean,
yeah.
When you're a kid, when you're young, it's just like all the time. It's just your imperative. It's what your body's telling you what to do. And then as you grow older, it's like, I want to go fishing.
I wonder how much of it is cause or effect. Like, is it your testosterone going down and therefore your sex drive goes down? Or is it just beating the fuck out of you because of all the bullshit you go through? And then you dabble your toe, and it gets beaten down again. And sooner or later, your testes are like, fuck it, I'm not producing anymore. This is way too problematic. I want to be 4 years old again before puberty, having fun, playing with frogs.
Yep. It's probably part environmental, just like everything. Part environmental, part, nature, physical, genetic, whatever. Yeah.
All right. What do we got? Any more super chats?
There's just one more. Nick Schulander asks, will you ever have Atham on the podcast?
We could have him on. It's up to him if he wants to come on.
And then he immediately followed up with, and what the hell are we going to talk about besides racist jokes?
God, that'd be great. I don't know if it'd be racist jokes. I think it'd just be him and me slamming each other, occasionally slamming on Elkins or Marcus, who won't be there to defend themselves. And then we'll be talking about these Mexican gals who think I'm cute because he posted a picture one time of me on his Facebook page, and he's from Mexico, so he has Mexican friends. And then all of a sudden, a couple Latinas thought I was the cat's meow. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, maybe the old Claire Meister still has it, And so he's like, no, they really like it. We talk about spelunking and caving.
And pipe tobacco
and cigars. Yeah, we talk about that. And then we talk about the year 2063.
2063.
Yeah. Do you know why that's actually relevant to Atham?
No idea.
That's the year he's finally going to fucking graduate with his chemical engineering degree.
2063.
Maybe 2064. I don't know.
There's another super chat here from Atham. He goes, DT, I am liking math a lot. Thoughts on adding a math minor to my chemical engineer major?
You're asking the guy who doesn't know it gets cold up on top of mountains?
Well, or the guy that doesn't. I don't really believe in extra degrees or extra letters after my name or certifications or anything like that. But I would say if you enjoy it, yeah, you might as well. I mean, sometimes that stuff does come in handy. Like the base, not basic math, but the higher level math that maybe you'll understand where some other engineers won't, would maybe help you figure out ways to solve some problems. I have had to lean on some of my calculus and things like that to solve some problems occasionally as an engineer. But if you like it, I mean, math is cool. So I don't know if it would put you ahead or not, but if you like it, why not?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of terse calculus or torso calculus, something like that?
No,
No.
no.
I had a guy email me at Asshole Consulting, had probably the highest IQ I've ever ran into, and he's listing these sub-mathematical disciplines
Yeah.
like experimental algebra, and it was like, I want to say torso calculus, that's not it, but it was something with a T or an ER or an S or something like that. And I'm thinking, like, that just sounds like the most advanced shit ever. Like, it's something I'd never heard of before.
Is it tensor calculus?
Tensor calculus. Tensor. What is that?
I don't know. It's a non-space answered that one. Tensor.
So you don't even know.
Tension or something. I don't know. I'll look it up.
Hang on, I'll look it up. Went from polygamy and banging 5 different broads and putting a bullet in your head to tensor calculus.
Tensor calculus made simple.
Extension of vector calculus to tensor field. Tensors that may vary over a manifold. Example, in space-time. Oh, that's all. Oh. It's just general relativity theory.
Well, it's a lot of these different kinds of like I took a math course called finite element analysis, and there's all kinds of different ways to use math in kind of different shapes and adding it and together and multiplying it together differently. And finite element analysis was basically splitting a piece of whatever steel into a bunch of little tiny pieces. And then you do equations on those little tiny pieces and add them all up to understand the full effect.
Why don't we have more women listening? Why don't we have more women listening to this podcast? Why aren't women just sending us pictures of themselves in bikinis and making dollar donations to why not? I don't get it.
Talking about tensor calculus.
Okay, cleared up in the super chats?
Just a minute here. I think so, yep.
Good. All right. Well, let's call it a night because I know you got to get back to your family and I got to go bowling. I also got to get some pho before the place closes down. If you want to help out the Older Brother podcast or me in general, go ahead, share the podcast with people. That's all you have to do. You can go to olderbrother.com, just share that website and people can find the podcast from there. Also, if you would like to help out financially by donating money, you can do that by going to olderbrother.com/donate. We have a Patreon account. There's a PayPal account. Why am I generally and philosophically against that, DT?
The Patreon account?
Yeah. Why am I'm not against it. Like, if you're going to give me money for free, I'll take it. Yeah. Why am I philosophically against people just donating money at Patreon and PayPal?
Because they're not really getting anything.
You're not going to get anything in exchange. I did pay a model to send over some pinup stuff for the Patreon page. So I am going to throw some of the money there to get the pinup model. But guess what?
That's it.
No. Guess
all.
what? I paid her. I'm pretty smart. I only paid her $30. Why did I only pay her $30 for a couple pictures?
Because that's what, like a third of a month's Patreon.
No. Why did I only do a little bit? Why did I do that? Because here's a model. She says, yes, I agree. Okay, here's a little bit of money. Let me know when you're ready to go. And she has yet to get back to me. Why did I only give her a little bit?
Because she's yet to get back to you.
Yeah, because pretty girls aren't reliable. You don't know if that money's ever coming back. It's just kind of like, all right, yeah, here's a little play. You could make more if you had delayed gratification and the ability to be a professional. You could make significantly more. But you know what? Because all of your colleagues before you that were good looking have ruined your reputation, I'm going to give you this tenth of a shekel there, and we'll see if you can do that first. So that is in the making.
Like a worm on a hook. A worm on a hook.
We'll see if that goes. You know, you gotta. I am trying to get somebody or something for people's Patreon money. You know, more than just, hey, this is a funny site and give me shit. PayPal's the same thing. There's not even a website, but the best way is to do all your shopping through my Amazon affiliate program, which you can also find at olderbrother.com/donate. So there's the two donation options, but then there's the Amazon affiliate program. Just click on that link every time you do your shopping online. Go there first. Do not go directly to Amazon.com. Do not buy it through your fucking app on your fucking phone. Oh, I didn't see it. It's just so convenient. I know it's convenient. The big favor you're doing me is taking the extra click to do your shopping. And then if you do that, I make an extra 7% cut, and all is well. And you don't pay anything extra, but you still get what you were going to buy anyway. Right, guys?
Exactly.
There you go. Then the 25th, something big is going to drop.
Is this that thing you told me about?
That's the thing I told you about. I'm going to keep it a surprise.
Yeah, I won't say.
Let's say. But we may be having some guest asshole consultants come on who handle an expected deluge of asshole consulting clients. So if you are going to be a client of asshole consulting in the near future and you insist it's me, you may want to put that in the email in your request, and understand I will charge you an arm and a leg. So I've had to employ some other assholes. There has been some training, but there may be some not familiar faces. Actually, they are familiar because they've been on podcasts and things before. So you guys kind of do know them. These aren't just randos that I just picked up off the street. Like, hey, you guy at the bus stop, you want to be an asshole? Here's all my login and username stuff. There you go. But just to let you know, that's going to drop Friday. And so I may be completely busy with asshole consulting and the post. There won't be a lot of 18-page posts going on my blog site when that happens. So that's it. DT, where can people find you on the internet where you don't do any content creation? Well, people are like, hey, I want to go to a website where there's nothing on it. Where can people go?
You can go to happynihilist.net. You can go to blackbrigade.org. The DT stands for Don T. Tread. That's what I am on YouTube. And I had to change my name on Facebook. That, you know how they figure out that it's not real or whatever. So I'm Landon T. Treadwell.
I don't know if it was the Kurt Russell eye patch avatar that gave it away, that you may not actually be Kurt Russell or Captain Ron.
Well, they didn't think. They're like, oh, Don T. Tread, that's not a real name. So now I'm Landon T. Treadwell on Facebook, and Don T. Tread on Twitter. So
wonderful. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Spread the good word by sharing this podcast on the social medias, and toodles.